What's happening? Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello and welcome. How are you? I hope you are all doing well, and welcome to our State of the Foxhole 2025, where we look back to 2024 and look forward to 2025. I had this special present for you all that was about to start early, which I did not want it to do, so I made sure that it didn't. I was like, what is happening? But now I know. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi. Welcome in. I'm so happy to have you here. It's lovely for everyone. Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Trooper SJP, and here's our State of the Foxhole. I mistakenly put 7 p.m. as a start time on the little calendar, but it turns out that's when we were going to start. So as it turns out, that was fine. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hey, I'm catching up on chat. Let's see. Here we go. Discord. Yeah, let's see. Yes, checking in on everybody with the wildfires. I know that Rissa's down in SoCal, which I think is probably safe than that, right? But yes, I'm glad that everybody, all of my California people, which is, I'm a native Californian, it is my home state, and I'm glad to hear people are okay right now down there in SoCal. I've got to check in with my people to make sure that everybody's okay. I've got a friend of mine who lives in the valley, and got to make sure he's okay. I went to UCLA, so I've got a lot of people in that area. So, hi everyone. I hope, I'm just sending good thoughts that away. How is everyone? I hope everyone is doing well. Yeah, the pictures from LA are disturbing, and I was not aware of the fires until sort of missed it, and I was like, wait, what's happening? And it just sort of hit me all of a sudden. It's because classes start on Wednesday, and I have a huge, hey Max Ryder, I have a huge amount of work to do between now and then. It will be a lot of work between now and Wednesday, so I'm just trying to catch up with everything and get myself set up and ready for the coming semester. But it is already started, so, and I'm just at the same time cross my fingers for everybody I know in California. And I hope everybody over here is okay. Well, I suppose if you're here, you are okay, is what I'm going to assume, more or less, I guess. Hi. It's the streamiversary. Well, the streamiversary is done, but it's our State of the Foxhole stream where I just talk about how it's been going and what has been happening. And I have putting writing on hold for this Regency Cthulhu Investigators are at a party. Oh, very nice. House says, totally under smell trooper. Between the winter storms and now this firestorm in LA, it's been chaos. Yeah. Yes, it has been. And it's the winds. The Santa Ana winds are not helping. This is how it is. This is... Whew. Am I in danger of missing Rilia on Sunday? No, I will be there. It will just mean that I will probably get a lot less sleep. A lot less sleep. Than I should, because I have got so much to do before Wednesday, not only just to finish up the end of the last semester. I've got these assessments to write and some letters of recommendations to write, and like grad school letters of recommendation, finishing up these like assessments from the last semester. There's some other stuff from the last semester that are just like hanging around. I've got to get that done, and then I've got to get the whole semester planned. Yeah, so I've got a whole bunch to do, and I won't be able to get started on it until Saturday, I think. So it's going to be like madness, but I will be there for Rilia. I just may not get a lot more sleep after that. So let's see. What do we have? Let's start. So Max, I'm in a Road to Rilia campaign that Rissa is the GM for. We play once a month, and it's about like 6 hours or so. And we've been playing for... Well, she's been playing longer than I have. I've been playing, 15 years? Maybe? I guess? Something like that? Something around 15 years. It is something along those lines. It is a good amount of time that I have been playing. I feel like 15 years feels excessive, and that doesn't seem right. But what do I know? Yes, this is the Sunday game that I mentioned. Exactly. And it's the every second Sunday of the month. I play once a month with my buddies. And that is, yes. I tried to get you at the beginning, but you moved Virginia. So that it has been 15 years then. Yeah, it's been about 12, 13, 14, 15 years that we've been playing. Uh, yes. So I have been, so I want to say it has been 8 years since I've been streaming, and I do a lot of data collection. The big data collection for all of Twitch has not been done because that takes a little bit of time for the downloading and the collating and all of that. But I tend to do like my own data collection for myself, look back on things, look forward on things. I do a lot of I do a lot of data collection. Now, I thought that we could, do a little bit of recap to see how it's going. Now, I will also note that there are things that I want to do in the future that I have not yet done, but hopefully I will be able to add some of those things next year. But I have added something that I'm really excited about for this year. It's been something I've been wanting to do for a while. I just haven't done it yet, and now I have. I spent today and yesterday, the last couple of days working on it, and I have a present for everyone, or just for me. I don't know. I can't. I can't. I'm not the boss of you all. Um, so I thought we could start with the brand new present, which is um, this place, the channel, the academic foxhole, um, my place, only works because I've got great community members. I've got amazing and wonderful mods, Jer, Rissa, and uh, some people jump in when they have time at Frithiel and Pope. And I have got great community members. Everybody does amazing things. And there's something that y'all have been doing for a while, and I've been gathering it and just have not had the time to do it. And I said, this time I'm going to do it. It is my goal to add this thing. And I hope each year I can add one or more of the things that I want to add. And this year, I would like to honor and do something with all of the clips that people make. So people, I stream here all the time and people make clips. And I thought it would be a really good idea to do something to honor all of that. And so, um, hello, Lindy, welcome back from the gym. And so, without further ado, I would like to present to you the year in review through clips, mostly made by you all, with a couple made by me. And so, please enjoy this 18 minutes of what we have been up to this last year. And so, for us all. Hi, I'm Trooper SJP, and there are 3 lizards here. Not one, not two, but 3 lizards. And maybe if they fight each other enough, they'll get distracted and I can escape. Countdown is, look, here's my goal right now is to get a lot of bats. Oh no! Excuse me. No! 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 Ah! I killed the lizard. Ah! Ah! And I died. Okay. There's a lizard here. I hope you all saw that. I hope you all saw that scab just stabbed me. Just straight up stabbed me out of nowhere. I had not done anything to him. I was not being rude. I was just walking on my way. Everyone. Hello, it is I, Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. It is our Mac Game Thursdays. And we're playing boop, 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 boop. Disco Elysium. You notice that my money seems to be, excuse me, point of order. It looked like I got 2 real, but I'm seeing, can you see right where my cursor is right there? That looks like it is, 15,755,007 real. That can't be right. What is going on here? Hi, we're gonna do it. I like this monocle. I have a couple different monocle frames, but I like this one a lot because it has the legs, so that you don't necessarily get your like eyelashes all like hitting the lens. And in case you don't know, this is a prescription monocle. I got the frame, and then I went to my optometrist, and I said, "Can I get my prescription put in this lens, please?" And they were like, "Okay, why do you want a monocle?" And I was like, "Because I clearly need to have a monocle." And they were like, "Okay." And they accepted that I'm the kind of person who needs a monocle. And I am. So, um, yeah. And I think that that's obviously I need a monocle, clearly. So, let's go to 65, shall we? New York Sun, European edition. When I browse the newspaper, which I do, I notice 3 items. Amit K, director of the Cairo National Museum, eagerly awaits the arrival of the Carpathos device on loan from Athens. I don't like that at all. Meh. The casket bearing. I cautiously head down the dark tunnel, wondering if this will lead me north toward the newly constructed Brooklyn Heights station, and then towards the terminus of the tunnel. Suddenly, a bright light is on me, and I recoil from the pain of the sensation. Spots dance in my retinas as I hear a man's voice. "Are you Willie?" asks a high-pitched voice. I squint through the light, and I see an older Asian woman several yards from me, a questioning look on her face. She does not lower her flashlight and seems determined to continue to blind me. If I lie and say that I'm Willie, go to 2. If I give her my real name, go to 57. I'm going to give her my real name. Why? Because she's Asian, and I'm Asian, and I don't know who Willie is, and I might as well just be honest. She's less creepy than the pulsating ground and algae, so I feel like Aang would be honest. Also, she blinded me with science. So we're gonna go to 57. I'm not Willie, I say, wondering what the woman's reaction will be. She stares at me curiously. Ha! She laughs. I'm not Don Mai then. No, really. I'm an engineer for the IRT, I say. I'm here to inspect why there's so many electrical fires. She snorts. You're not with Mr. Giddings? She asks. No, I don't know who he is. I'm lost, I say, doing my best to sound completely innocent. She shrugs, looking equally as confused as I. You should leave, she says. The harbingers are early, and unless you have that amulet that Willie was supposed to have, they will tear your head off and eat your eyes. And we're back, Space Cadets, to the thrilling adventures of Crash Jones, Space Adventurer, and the Asteroid Dungeon of Peril. When last we left our hero, Crash Jones was on his back behind an electronic bank. I would like you all to imagine right now that sort of very dramatic Sarah McLachlan Eyes of the Angel stuff is happening in the background, very melodramatic. You may know every day an RPG performer, player, actor, improviser falls prey to an addiction to wigs and cosplay pieces. And you can help for as little as 13 cents a day. You can help one of these actors, these players, these human beings with their wig addiction. By donating to the Academic Foxhole, you will be supporting wigs, fake blood, and other strange things that people get up to without asking. In the arms of an angel. So you can give tips. If you recall, you probably don't, and there's no record of it. But when I first started it, the very first episode was called Knight's Black Agent Solo. That's what it was called. And after that first episode, I knew that this could not just remain that. So I renamed it to an actual show title, Seasons of Death. And I gave him, well, he chose autumn. And now we're having Seasons of Death summer. It just sort of that smell just sort of it's almost like you don't smell it, but like you sense it. Like just this little smell of frankincense.
I smell of frankincense, but I'm going to infuse it with a little bit of myrrh. Murder.
Oh!
And
I just wanted to give it to you. I just wanted to give it to you.
Thank you.
In honor of you, we're gonna be in Florida, just so you know.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Nice.
That sounds miserable.
Because I want to honor you, right? Yeah, we're in Florida.
We could have been anywhere.
No, we had to be in Florida.
Gross.
Yeah.
But also brought this game as a whole, and I cannot enough say how impressed I've been by Sandman just as a system and as a concept, and how ahead of its time it was. Like, that's wild to me. And also I have to give another separate bit of love for Trooper in that jacket.
I remember them crying in the snow, holding their frostbitten teddy bears. Oh,
Yes, but what was wrong with that?
You have to give some liberty to your workers lest they seize the means of production.
Wait a minute. What do you mean seizing the means of production? That would be
We are
terrible.
unable to have a rest. We are
towards the downport of Tick-Tick. You see it over the horizon. There, a town with concrete walls and small concrete bunkers with batteries of missiles on the side and concertina wire and an actual door with a gate. And the starport. A patch of land made of asphalt.
Yeah.
With some lines drawn on it in paint that is flecking away. And also...
We've literally just landing in Woodstock 99.
Yes.
Who the fuck ripped all the way through my ship?
Oh, they didn't know already. Okay.
Who
What?
was it, Wesley? Who was it? You can tell me.
It was me.
No. Thank you, Val. It was me. I did it.
No, it was me. I
This
did
is a
it.
Spartacus moment. No, everybody stop. I was flying. I crashed it.
I was flying. I was told to.
It was
pilot
Val.
and-
Val did it. I had nothing to do with any of this.
Out of character, Greg's going to say this. There is a reason. This is Greg speculating. I obviously don't have hidden information.
Who's
The
talking
troopers
now?
have them.
If we're about to hear from Greg, who's this?
This is Greg right now.
you sure?
This is Greg's narrator. This is the
okay.
voice that is prepping
Okay.
Greg to
All right.
get ready to speak.
As it would turn out.
God.
Right.
So that you would need to spend 4 luck
Okay.
to not take the full 11 damage as you start hemorrhaging.
All right, we'll do that.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is so bad.
Please
So you
take
should rest.
This is why I
5
should have rest.
damage.
5 damage.
First off your endurance, then second off of anything else, either strength or dexterity, depending
When
on
you're in
your...
drug withdrawals, you should rest.
Yes, if you'd rested, this would not have been as much of a problem, I don't think.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think it would have.
If you do psionic clones, or you do psionic drugs, and your new fucking clone, you should.
You should really take a fucking rest today.
Yeah.
A very flashy ship the Elaine that belonged to Marrymore showed up on the floating palace.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who might have been working for Marrymore would surely have known what that meant.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Or at least what they thought they knew what that meant. Anyhow.
Oh no. That's worse, Trooper.
Oh, I know it is. And you don't even know how much worse it is. You'll find out soon. So.
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, at the very least, and this would be from Hawk Severance, which I imagine they're probably just on the ship for this.
Yeah, probably most of the time. It's like our hotel room is the yacht, right? So it's like, oh, going back to the room or going back to the ship. It's like we were just bunked there.
Yeah, Severance is in his room. Harlock is in the bar, which is
right. This same place.
room.
Yeah.
Normally, it's much too loud. Being around people is very taxing.
Sue walks in and stands behind Val to hear this toast.
Does Sue walk in through the door, or does Sue walk in through the door?
Just through the door. Just
okay. All right. Yeah, just got it.
I have found most times that being around others is unpleasant, loud, dirty, difficult. People are untrustworthy, and all in all, horrific.
Yeah.
But if I had to find myself around a group of people and not want to stab myself in the eyes, I imagine this is the closest that I would come.
Once again, happy 8 years.
Happy 8 years.
Let's try not to die.
Okay, we'll try not to die. What's even that about? I mean, seriously, who says such things? Hey, Foxhole, all of you battle buddies who are here, thank you. This space means a lot to me, you know? I love people. That's, maybe it's not cool, but I find people so fascinating and interesting, and I feel like every person out there has something interesting that you can learn from. And, when I was growing up, I was bullied really badly. Every day I was bullied. The day did not go by that somebody didn't call me ugly, and on and on and on. And, from K through 12, every day. And I always thought it was very interesting that people respond differently to adversity, And for me, I thought, I don't want anybody to feel that way. And if there's anything I can do to make it so that people don't feel hurt or bullied or unseen, then I'm going to do that thing. And I don't do the things I do because of, like, I don't know, because I want to be famous or whatever, I have turned down many opportunities to do that sort of thing because I'd rather just do the right thing and be with people who are good, kind people and who do the work. I have high standards for myself because it matters to me that when I was in elementary school, no, 6th grade, my 6th grade social studies teachers handed us all the Athenian Boys' Oath. And I was so struck by this oath that said that you would leave the city better, the city that you receive better then you got it. And that was your charge, to make the place, whatever place you're at, better after you've left it from when you got it. And I always strive to do that because I think everybody deserves that. Two ends of time are neatly tied, a one-way street. Just walk into the end of the line, and there she meets the faces she keeps in her heart and mind. They say goodbye. Tomorrow Wendy is going to die. Tomorrow Wendy, you're going to die. Underneath the chilly gray November sky, we could make believe that Kennedy is still alive, and we're shooting for the moon and smiling Jackie's driving by. They say good try. Tomorrow Wendy, you're going to die. Hi everybody. Hi. I hope you enjoyed the clip show that I spent some time making. I'd probably make a little bit of exciting sound effects to make it perfect, but I was like, I got to get this out for you all today. So I hope you enjoyed that year in review. Remember, everyone, more clips this year, double at least. Look, the more clips you make, the better I can make our clip show. And so I do want to thank everybody who made clips. There were so many of you who made clips, and it was so nice. I made a couple myself in there for us to, fill it in. But that was evidence of how great you all are as a community. And no spoilers, as a matter of fact. Not at all. I had one Cthulhu Confidential clip that I was like, you know what? I won't put it in there for spoiler purposes. But yeah, that was... thanks for that. I thought I would... Right now, let's talk about what we did last year a little bit, so we could hang out and think about it. So last year, so I suppose... I don't know if I have we'll see what we can do here. I've got a lot of things here, and I will show you some of them. Some of this stuff I don't think will be very exciting for you, although maybe it will. I can't say. I don't know what is exciting for you or not. But let's start. I think I can probably do this, yes? Probably. Let's see. Oh no, that's not exciting. We don't want that. Hold on. You don't want that. You want That's what you want. There we go. That's right. House Dreams, we became friends this year, and it's really good. So, I am going to show you some things because I thought you might find it interesting. Not a whole bunch of things, but we'll get there. So this here is I have a number of spreadsheets that I keep. And this one here is my stream ledger, and it has a record of every single stream that I have ever done, either on my channel or other people's channels, going back to the very beginning. So you can see the very first thing I did was June 2016. You can't see it very well, that's fine. Fiasco with Esteni. And then my very first stream on my channel is this one here, which was Starting the Inquisition. That was November 5th, 2016. No, it's my cursor. It's my cursor. So we have every single thing I've done. I say what stream number it is on my channel, what number is for that particular session number for that particular thing, the day, the date, the name. I have it categorized, whether or not it's an event or RPG or other, my channel, other channel, and total. And so then I have this running total for each year. So the very first, and then you can see, right, this is everything that I've done for the last 8 years. You can see the green, by the way, are RPGs. Gray means I didn't stream that time. So if I, for example, right here, you can see a bunch of no stream due to moving, right? That's a chunk of, so if I have a regular on my channel scheduled stream and I don't get to do it, I grade out so that I know I missed a stream that time and what reason I missed it for. So I can see, I missed stream due to academic duties or due to illness, whatever it is, right? So going all the way down, all the stream stuff to where we are, what things have not yet been put on my YouTube. And here we are right now with, this is what it looks like. I fill out the entire month. and then I use that to then put into the calendar, which is on Twitch. So we can see like what has, where are we at? We're the 9th. Yeah, we haven't done this week, obviously. At the end of every week, I do just a recap. So last week I did no Thursday, no stream due to tech issues, which you can see right there. And then Tales from the Foxhole, Sandman Part 6 was January 3rd. And then Just Chatting, catching up for the new year. So that's what we did. And you can see that I have done 811 streams on my channel. And, oh, hey, did the colloquium, which I always catch up on the week at the end of the week. So Sunday, I go through and I do all of this. So, I did the colloquium, I did Warhammer 40K, this right here, the Tales from the Foxhole After Action Report, that's us right now. And then tomorrow's Death of the Author, Saturday's Hitman, and you can see everything else that's going to happen for the month. And that's what I do so everything I've ever done, it's all in here, so I know it. I also have a bunch of other tabs, which you can see. I've got my Twitch yearly stats, overall data for 24 back to 2019. These is like overall Twitch stats. I haven't yet collated this stuff for this last year, but I can see, it says that one's not done. Interesting. So I can see, for example, how many hours were watched on Twitch overall, what the average viewer count was, what the peak viewers were, streams, the most watched channels, most streamed. I sort of keep all of that. And then I focus in on TTRPGs and Dungeons & Dragons as categories. And so I can see how many hours the categories had, was up or down. I take a note of where I'm at in terms of where I've been that year. So, I just kind of keep those things. I make a record of a bunch of other stuff. That's not the point, though. The point is I wanted to show you up here because, I think it's option home, control home. There we go. So I also have for you all I keep a record of is there a reason for the Saturday switch? We'll get there. 811 streams on my channel over the last 8 years, although really, over the last 8 years. Although, remember, I started in November, so it's, not full 8 years. So I do this because, if you want to know why I do this, it's because, before I got my first job as a professor, one of my advisor's an amazing advisor, gave me lots and lots of really good advice. And he said, when you get your first job, you should keep a document with every single thing you've done. Every concert you go to, every recital you go to, every jury you go to, all of the sort of things that you go to, you should just keep a record of it. Those things are often not counted, but you want to have a record of them in case you need them. And so I do that. And let me tell you what, it has been very useful at times to say, hey, I'm doing all of this extra work that doesn't count. Look at it. And they're like, oh, yeah. So I do this with us as well. Now, I will say that some of this is a little bit funky, but that's okay. Let me show you. I think I can probably zoom in, I bet, right? Let's see. Here we go. Let's zoom in a bit so you can see bigger. Nice. Okay. This is very exciting. Let's get us a little bit over here so it's a bit nicer. Okay. So this right here is my sort of overview of all the streams that I've done. So you can see that in the year 2016, I just did 8 streams. That's it. So just note that one. And that's 8 streams total. 7 on my channel, 1 on somebody else's channel. 7 of them were other. 1 of them was an RPG. Because if you remember, in the very beginning, I was just doing video games in the very beginning. Because I wanted to get my practice on with streaming so that I could get things on my feet. And then I wanted to be able to make the connections so I could get the kind of players I wanted. It was a whole thing of getting myself prepped. And then I did 80 streams total in 2017, 82 in 2018, which is when I first started running RPGs. And I'm pretty sure they were all on Geekspace TV. So they weren't yet on my channel. I start streaming right on my channel in 2019. And if you look, you can see, and then I have various events, right? So when looking at the total number of streams per year, I've gone from, and actually, if you look at this lovely little line chart, the lines themselves are whether or not, so this line here, I think you can see it there. That line right there is the total number of streams that I've done in that year. So you can see you start off, right, very small. My big high point was, what year is that? I don't know. Well, I want this to be a slightly different, this should be by year. This is the wrong, oh. Yeah, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2020 was my biggest year. And now I've got to change this chart to make that legend there the actually appropriate legend. Let's see. Change select data. This should be the legend should be let's do this, and we'll call this, nope, come here. We have to, I'm going to be distracted by this, and it will really distress me if I cannot have this be right. Let's have this be, name this, and it's going to be years. And the data range is going to have to be, whoop, boom. There. No! Dang it. I'll fix it. I know what this data is. It's just not showing right. Pardon me. I like chart title. Yeah, I would, So anyway, 20, I don't like this at all. We have to fix this. This is very distressing. This is very distressing, everybody. Hey, we want labels. I can't believe it. You know what I mean. We know what's happening. The data's correct. It's just that they're not giving me the labels properly, and I don't like it. That's fine. Format axis? No, that won't do it. Hey, Hawkeye, I'm just trying to figure out, oh, roads are clear. That's very good. I'm just trying to figure out how to get the right titles here, because that is not going to make me happy if it doesn't, you know what I'm saying. Anyhow, so this is actually years, even though it doesn't say so. I don't know what I'm going to do to make sure it does say that, but select autofill, no. I feel like it's, I think it's select data, but the question is, how do I get it to do the data that I want it to do? Oh, what if I do this? If I do this, will it do what I want? If I do this, that's series 1. I don't think this is going to do what I want, will it? Nope. Nope. It doesn't do it. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Anyhow, so the biggest number of streams I did was 2020. And that was with 223 streams that year. Oh, the thing is, right here, the key for this chart on the y-axis is year, events, RPGs, other, my channel, other channel total, and that's not what that data is. This data is actually by year, so this should be 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. So the chart itself is correct. This ledger is incorrect, and I don't know why it is incorrect, but it is, and I don't like it. I will have to figure out how to make Excel do this correctly. The chart's proper, it's just the ledger's wrong. Anyhow, so I did 223 streams in 2020, which was my big high point. And Excel's beyond you. So this year I did 152 streams, and I had a big, huge challenge this year. This year was, this last semester was a big challenge for me in terms of getting all my video game streams in, which was so sad for me. But it looks like, so the year before was 194, so I've dropped about 42 streams than I had the year before. And 2022 was 192, so it's about the same. That said, if you look at the actual details, there are some interesting things. So one thing I would notice is this green bar here is RPGs, how many RPGs. So if you notice, my RPGs are not actually that off. I'm still pretty good when it comes to RPGs. The big drop was in how many video game streams I was able to do. But this year, I have one course release in the spring, and then we've got the summer coming up, and I hope that I'll have sabbatical in the fall, which means I'm expecting to be able to get all of my streams in this year, 2025, with, missing a couple streams for moving, that kind of thing. You would try to help, but everything's too tiny. Maybe I can make it a little bit bigger. Let's see what we can do. Woo! Okay, so that's now a little bit bigger, right? Okay, so what I think is kind of interesting is, so just so you know, the lines are the total number of, so this is total streams total. This here is total streams on my channel. And this here is this orange line is total streams on other people's channels. So if you notice, I had a bit of a small drop between for my channel, but actually a much bigger drop on other people's channels. Because when things got really, really hectic in the this last fall, one of the big things was like, I cannot take on more streams on other people's channels because I just don't have the time. My life is so miserable. So the big drop I had for this last year was that I couldn't do as many streams on other people's channels, which makes me sad. And I hope that I can fix that this coming year. Certainly, at least, I plan on doing things in the summer. If people want to ask me to do things in the summer, I'm going to say yes, because I want to get that, and maybe also in the fall, depending. So that's that. And then these bars here, this is just the category. So green is RPGs, purple is video games, red is anything else. And as you can see, right, we've got I would say generally speaking, my RPGs mostly on my channel have been pretty consistent, right? How much I've done. Yeah, I was super busy this past autumn. So we had a bit of a drop in the number of streams I could do, but the number of RPGs have been consistent on my channel. I have been pretty good about not dropping out RPGs. Like I'm gonna run, and I did a whole bunch in the summer. So that really sort of kicked up the year. So that was that was pretty good. I think I did a pretty good job here with all of that. But my goal though is for 2025 to, in terms of numbers, I would really like to, of course, as normal, have basically every Friday do an RPG stream, with a couple, like, exceptions only being if I'm traveling, if I'm moving, that kind of thing. But I've been pretty good at that. I miss very, very few Fridays. Or if I'm like going to take like a vacation or something. But generally speaking, I miss very few Fridays, so I'm going to keep that up. I would like to get both of my video game streams in this coming year, the Thursdays and the Fridays. Now, I will note that Thursday and Friday video game streams are always a little bit less stable than the RPG stream, because if I have to go to a conference or if I, that kind of a thing. So I might always miss something for conferences, but generally speaking, oh wait, that wouldn't be Night Witches. I think that was the year you did a lot on Praxis channel. Yes, you mean last year, the year before? Yes. When Night Witches started, you had more streams on Geek Space than your own. Yes, that is correct. Because I didn't actually, and actually we can look, because that is what my ledger is for. So Night Witches, we can just look for our greens. There. So the very first RPGs I did, besides my very first RPG was in 2016, but after that was Geek Space in 2018, when I did Cthulhu Confidential in September. So I did 3 streams of Cthulhu Confidential in September 2018. And then when we actually get sort of more, it's going to be 2019 is when I'm doing Geek Space TV, Night Witches. So that's 2019. And then I do Off the Table, which is a superhero stream in Fate with Dot. And then I am doing the Greyhawk channel, where I meet Greg. Then I'm over on Dot's channel. I do my very first RPG stream on my channel July of 2019. So that was like when I started and it was Fatal Frequency, because I was like, I can get one player. If I invite one player, I'm sure I can get, and that was Jackie Dash, who said yes. And that's what started me being able to run RPGs on my stream, is like, and note, I did like at least a good year and a half, like, or half a year, almost not a full year, almost a full year of playing on other people's channels, getting people to know who I am, being a good player, being a good community member, before I could then have enough visibility, or people would trust me enough to be able to then, if I could ask them, would you be on my channel, they would say yes. So that was when I first started. I did Cthulhu Confidential, and that was just 2 sessions. And again, that was just the very beginning, right? And then I did Lost, so a solo RPG on my channel. That's 3. We Are Nerdsmiths, Graticus, RPG Prep. And I did 3 RPGs on my own channel in 2019. It's 2020 when I'm still doing a bunch of streams on other people's channels, but it's 2020 when City of Light and Shadow starts. So 2020 becomes, 2020 is like a big year. That's when I start really fully streaming on my channel for real, with a real regular show. And then I'm still streaming all over everybody else's channels as well. So, but it took me, so 2020 is when I was able to really get my cast together and to do a full cast show. And so if I start, 2016, 2017, 2018, it takes me about 2 years, a year and a half, almost 2 years of being a community member, doing some things before I'm able to get the cast that I want. So, you take some time, right? You don't just, it doesn't happen all at once, right? At least the way I did it. I wanted to do this the right way. I wanted to get the players that I wanted. I wanted to get the sort of vibe that I wanted. I wanted to be able to bring together casts that I thought would be good together. And to do that, I needed to play on a whole lot of channels first. And then I did, right? Yeah. Let's see. Oh wait, that wouldn't be Night Witches. Yeah. Do you get more points for your 12-hour chat? I don't get more points though. It still counts as one. So yeah, so that's so 2020 is like a big, massive year for me, where I'm doing all sorts of things all over the place. This is when actually that's COVID, right? COVID sort of starts cropping in and do lots of things. Good times. But that is all of that, right? So we can then look over what we did for the year itself. So I just want to say 2025, I'm looking forward to being consistent with my streams. I'm really looking forward to that, and saying yes to some other streams. Hey, Artie, how are you? Don't even worry about the ADHD. I get it. Yeah, COVID closed stuff in spring of 20. It did. That's right. It was right after. I think actually for us it started in the fall. It was either spring break. I think it was spring break, right? Spring break. With our university, they said just don't come back from spring break. So, right. So that's kind of like what we've done, but we can look at what we did over the year itself, and there are a couple of ways that we can do that we can see what we've done, because I have more than one way to keep track of all of this. Let me show my action bar. Sweet. Is this going to do what I want it to do? I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Hey, action bar, which one do I want? I want default profile. Sweet. No, that's not going to do it for me. So sad. So let me get slightly different data for you to look at. Why? Because I enjoy lots of data. I also have, in addition to that, I also have schedules, which I'm going to share with you now. Let's see. And I'm going to share with you a bunch of things so you can see what kind of ridiculousness I get up to. Yeah, that's in March. So here. So this here is another set of, this is my scheduling. This is my scheduler. So what I do is I have a schedule of all of my streams, just so that for me, so I know what's happening, so I can keep track of everything, right? So if we look at 2025, spoilers, everybody, we say I have whatever shows I've been completed. I have what is so I just completed, for example, the San. Oh, I can make this bigger, can't I? Let's zoom it in a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Let's go. Woo! Great, 300. So I completed the Sandman adventure, so that's up. That I have what I'm currently doing this week, and I always try to have that going so that I can always look and see what's happening. Right, I'm currently doing the Warhammer 40k mini campaign. I have my Mat Gaming on Thursdays. This stream right now, the Save the Foxhole. When this is done, I'll move that up to the completed. I've got Death of the Author coming up next week, so I always have what's happening next week as well in this little blue section. My PS4 gaming, and then on the second Sunday of the month is the Road to Aurelia via Zoom. You don't see it, but I know it. And then I have the things that need scheduling that I need to that are like on my radar that I have to do at some point. I want to do the arena game for you all. Hack and slash at Table Story. Probably not going to do that. I'm probably actually going to do something different with them, but don't worry about it. I want to do some more Spy Team. I want to do Sandman Adventure 4 and also Twilight Road Part 3. Those are all things that need to be scheduled at some point in time. And then I have things that are upcoming that I've committed to, probably which you can't see most of it. NDAs, but stuff on my channel you can, right? So we've got a charity stream happening next Friday that Greg is going to GM. And then we've got Season of Death Winter coming up after that. There's other stuff that you can't see because I am not the GM in charge of that, so I'm not allowed to say. But there are some things that are scheduled for a little bit further off. So I just tend to have everything that's up there so that I know. And then I have, right, just generally speaking, like what's happening in the week, so that if people ask me, can you do this thing? I can say yes or no, obviously. Is there a record of? No, there isn't. Actually, is there a record of Road to Aurelia? I take notes. I'm a note taker, so I've got notes for every single session, but the notes are not anything that anyone else wants to know about. Yeah. You have my permission. Oh, so I'm going to be in a 4-shot of Wanderhome over on House of Dreams channel. So that's going to be we're all adorable animals who Wanderhome is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. We are friendship is magic, animals wandering through the lands, being wholesome. And that's going to be on Sundays in February for the 4 Sundays of February. That's coming up. That'll be 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern. And so you should all come and see that. So that's pretty exciting. Is it like a buddy movie, aka Road to Rio? And have you gotten to Aurelia yet? We haven't gotten to Aurelia yet that we know of. It's not a buddy movie like that, but it is set in the 40s and now the 50s. So that's what that's about. That's a shame. I've been keeping my RPG journal since 91 and audio recording at least all my sessions since 08. I hate losing stories. Yes, and we're raising money for Black Girl Rock. But Max, I do have notes for every single session that I've been in. I have many notes files. So I keep the notes. We can always go back through them. So now, in addition to this, I also have my monthly planning. This is, can see what this looks like. Woo! There we go. I feel like we can just make this a little smaller. Boom. So I also keep a calendar, and I think Bing's dead. So I keep a calendar, right, of everything that I'm doing, so I can just look at my calendar and be like, oh, that's what I've got this month, right? In November, my overview, right? Oh, I've got Warhammer, I've got Tidal Blades, Mat Gaming, Gamblers, PS4 gaming. So I always know what I've got happening. So if somebody says to me, hey, could you be in one of my streams? I could say, Monday nights is what I got open. Right. And at the moment, I was doing a bunch of stuff on Sunday nights, but I'm teaching Monday, Wednesdays, which makes gaming on Sundays actually quite difficult because I usually have to do class prep. But that is that. But that is, oh, I know why. I know the whole point of us doing this. Sorry. was that I wanted to show you the list of what we did, what we've completed. Do you have a reminder to schedule me for Cthulhu Confidential offline? Let's see. I will put it on my needs to be scheduled. So this is what we did all last year, and we can check this out 2 different ways. We've played Rain. So when it comes to console gaming, I'm pretty sure. Actually, let me check my ledger, because the ledger will tell me if we did anything other than I don't think we did. Let's see. Boop. Did we play anything other than Rain World and Disco Elysium in the year of 2024? I'm going to just check my ledger to find out. 2024, our first video game stream of 2024 was Rain World. So this year, the entire year for console gaming, we did Rain World. And for Mac gaming, we've done Disco Elysium. So it's been Disco Elysium and Rain World all year. The first stream of the year was Disco Elysium, number 26. And the last one we did was 44. So we did, what is that? 18 sessions of Disco Elysium over the course of the year. Not enough. 18, that's terrible. That's terrible. And we did 20 sessions of Rain World over the course of the year as well. And that was, just so much. I was like, not enough. 18 is really bad, y'all. But so this last year, 2024, was the year of Rain World and also of Disco Elysium. And did that vampire game you played with Lindy happen in 2024? Montreal by Night, yes. I'm pretty sure it did. But we can... That is what my things are for. So, to continue on with video games for a moment, that's what we did. We did 2 video games, one console and one Mac game. So let's think about what we have and haven't done. So we did not get a lot of video games in. Only like 18 to 20 is not great. That means we missed half, and that was almost all in the fall. No good for me. Don't like it. So what are we going to do next year? So next year, on our Thursdays, we're going to continue on with Disco Elysium because I would like to finish it. That is my goal. Did that vampire game you played with Lindy happen? The story video game. The story video game. Probably not. Because I think the only thing we did in terms of video games on my channel was unless it was like a special thing. That vampire game, Rain World and Disco Elysium. Which one? The story game where we are a vampire? Let's see. We were vampires. Story game. Video game. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can find it, eh? Hey, Ledger. We're looking at the main character was lame. You can find it? Hey, Nergobert, how are you? What game was that? Twice Reborn. Twice Reborn. Yes. So Twice Reborn, we did that in 2022. So that was 3 years ago. That was when we did that one. 2022. So it has been a while. I was going to say what my goals for 2025. Besides finishing Disco Elysium, I'm really enjoying it and I want to finish it. I don't know how much time we have left, but we are going to finish Disco Elysium. when we finish Disco Elysium, I would like to play some of the games that were like some of the winners of the Independent Game Festival Excellence in Narrative awards, because we used to do that and then we've not been able to do that. So I would like to do that. So that's one of the things I would like to do for Mac Gaming Thursdays, is once we finish Disco Elysium, I would really like to get back in and play some of the Excellence in Narrative winners. And I am excited about that. Yeah, Rissa, 2022. And as for the console Saturdays, I got a PS5, by the way, everybody. I've not set it up yet, but I will. I just haven't yet. We're gonna. So here's the thing: we are going to start a brand new video game on this Saturday. So we've been in the same spot in Rain World for months, actually. We've not progressed. And since we went over a full year of it, we did not progress any further. So we're going to go and do Hitman. I will probably play some Rain World on my own to see if I can get past there, and we'll see how it goes. But we're going to play a new game on Saturday, and we're going to play Hitman. So Hitman was one of the first games I played, probably not the first, but one of the early games I played on the original Xbox, and I loved it because I liked being stealthy and sneaky. And I will. And so we're going to play it. We can actually play it on the PS4. I don't know if we can play it on the PS5. I guess we'll find out at some point. But we're going to start with a brand new game for a brand new year, and that's going to be Hitman, and we're going to be stealthy. I can't wait to watch it, but I started Last Exile before it got here. Nice. Hitman, interesting. Not the game I was expecting from a Trooper game. I know. See, this is the thing, Artie. People are like, oh, Trooper would not play a game like that, but I would. I love Hitman. Hitman was really fun. I played Hitman, Hitman 2, Hitman 3, loved it. And I was also really big on Splinter Cell, the other sort of stealth game, and also Thief 3 had a great stealth section. Love myself some stealth games. I do enjoy them very much. Going to do Hitman 3 World of, that way it has all the games inside. Will I be able to finish it by this time next year? I don't know. We'll find out. But I have a PS5. I'd like to set that up. We will see how that goes. So that's all of our video game situation is. We got the PS5. I will set it up or I won't. I mean, I will set it up when, I don't know, but we're going to start Hitman on Saturday. And we're going to continue on with Disco Elysium. If I get to finish it by the end of the year, which I hope so, then I will play some of the Excellence in Narrative winners because we are behind on that, and that would be really great. The streamer you watch in the mornings when you work is a big Hitman fan. Nice. Oh, I love that. So then, that's video games. Let's talk RPGs. Never played any of the Hitman games, as I'm not big on hard stealth games. Not in terms of difficult, but if you get caught, you fail. Oh, Artie, what's interesting is that you can play Hitman by being caught. I don't think it ends the game. There are people who play the game where they just run and gun, right? Like they sneak, then they get caught, and then they just shoot everybody. So you can certainly play Hitman as a shooter, I guess, right? That doesn't tend to be my goal. I really enjoy playing Hitman where nobody knows I was there, and nobody even finds the body till after I'm done. Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure it just gets hard. I mean, you just have to shoot everybody. And if you really like shooting people, then you can shoot lots of people. I think that's the same thing with Splinter Cell too, right? That if people see you, you just start shooting people. I guess. I personally really like to not kill anybody that I don't have to in those games. Just kind of like sit, wait, chat. And I feel like these might be really great to play with chat because sometimes you just have to wait until people pass by and then we can chat while we're waiting. Depends on the mission, and there's some great humor buried. Oh, there's some great humor too. So kind of like the Assassin's Creed games, the more recent ones anyway. Yeah, I think so. So I'm excited because there's a lot of waiting in stealth games, and now I get to chat with you while we wait. And then once the guards pass by, then we sneak, do that stuff. Oh, you really love Dishonored sneaking about? I haven't played Dishonored yet. That is one of them that is going to be on my list. Hitman, there was a long time when Hitman was just not being produced, and I don't think they've done a Splinter Cell. Basically, the vibe I'm getting is that stealth games have
Somebody's watching me.
I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Ba-da-ba-bow. Oh, thank you for the follow. That is exciting. Welcome in. Grun Adler, green eagle, Adler. Yeah. So grün Adler, so a green eagle, or I suppose a green noble. That's edel, right? So green eagle. Why are you a green eagle? To think what's up. Don't even worry about it. No content. So plus the streamer is bald, so he will cosplay. Oh, nice. The community behind it is working on a James Bond game. It should be fun. Grün Adler, wie geht's, Grün Adler? Ich hoffe, dass es geht dir gut. Oder euch. Geht ihr gut. We don't know each other well enough to dutzen each other, so I hope you're doing well. Green Mountain State. Oh, nice. Okay, I see you. I think it's interesting, right? Because I love stealth games. I really enjoyed them, and there were quite a few of them in that first generation of that Xbox PS2 era, but then they sort of went out of favor. Abend. They sort of went out of favor. Like they didn't. I mean, now Hitman is apparently back, which is cool, but it seems as if the current audience was not into sort of sitting and waiting and that kind of. There's something kind of meditative about a good stealth game where you just kind of sit and you wait. You know, Trooper is a little quiet. Let me see. I'm looking at my numbers. I can boost myself up to a right. I can boost myself a little. I feel like I could be. I got you. Hold on. Okay, let me bring myself up slowly to where I should probably be, right about here, most likely, and yeah. So, now we're back. I'm hitting -15. So, I like stealth games. I do enjoy them very much, and I just never get to, I don't get, and also what's great about Hitman is you get to dress up in costumes, right? You get to dress up as clowns or whatever, and I do enjoy that. Schmelzer says, we're definitely in need of a proper stealth game again. One that has a fancy light meter that shows how well hidden you are. Yes. I really miss those. I think people are just too impatient, right? They don't want to wait, but I really enjoyed them. I found them awesome. So in honor of a game that I haven't, so we're going to play Hitman. We're going to play Hitman starting on Saturday. On Saturday, I'm very excited for it, and we'll see how that goes. It's also done by missions, so I think that'll give us a nice sense of satisfaction that way. I have some other games, but the last stealth game I played was Deus Ex. Ooh, hey Zalvi, Deus Ex, loved Deus Ex. That was a great game too. Yeah, I actually really like stealth games. It's just that you haven't seen me play them because there aren't that many of them anymore, which makes me sad. Oh, Improv GM, we do. We need a proper follow-up to Thief. Oh my gosh. Oh, stealth games, you say? Prepares with our Stealth Archer and Skyrim. Yes. Oh my, so Shalebridge Cradle was that one level in Thief that was like the haunted, abandoned orphanage, and it was scary and awesome, and I loved it. Whew. Yeah. Rainworld isn't a stealth game? No, it's more like just a hide game. This is, did you read Kieran Gilm's article about Shalebridge? No. Would you link it? Because I would love to. I would love to read that. That would be amazing. Was it in the old Escapist? When the Escapist was still like a new games journalism magazine? I think Assassin's Creed is the closest I come to playing stealth games. Yeah. Except that Assassin's Creed is a bit more, it's a bit faster. I think it was printed in physical. It might have been, I feel like it might have been in The Escapist when The Escapist was a games journalism site, right? I'll have to check it out. I have all the early, wait, no, I want to see it. Hold on. There. PC Gamer. Yeah. I want to, don't delete the message. I want to show it. No, wait, sorry about that, Improv GM. We're gonna, Nightbot has to just to stop being ridiculous. There we go. that's it. PCgamer.com. Copy link. New tab, everybody. Boom. Thank you. New tab. Excellent. Yes. Okay. So now the question is, so that's video games. I have a PS5. I have not set it up yet. I hope to do so sometime soon. You know how that is. To be honest, if a game offers stealth as an option, I can't not play it as a stealth game. It just I love. Oh yeah, I love good stealth. Today one of the things I really like about stealth games, and by the way, Improv GM, I still hope you're still here. I hope that you've not been. I hope that Nightbot didn't ruin you. Hold on. Can I just do a reg add Improv GM? Can I do that? Or is it? Yes. So Improv GM, you should be able to post a link without anything bad happening. Nightbot gets weird sometimes. Okay. So yeah, I miss stealth RPGs. There are some RPGs that you haven't seen me play because they've not been around for a while. Did I play Tenchu? I did not play Tenchu. Is it good? So before you say anything, House of Dreams, you have to know the following. One, when it comes to video games and my life. So my first console was the ColecoVision in the early 80s, and I had a ColecoVision, and then I joined the Army, and I had no computers at all, because I did not own a computer, nor did I have a console, and I was just traveling around the Army. When I was in Germany, I still didn't have a computer, but internet cafes became a thing, so I would go and play mushes on internet cafes. I'd go and pay for my time at the internet cafe, and I'd play mushes. So I did a bunch of mushing. My ex worked at a video store and would bring home one of these Nintendo consoles, the 64, I think, maybe. And we would play Donkey Kong World, but only played a little bit of that. Come back to the States. Never play Lord. I didn't. Stealth-based games in the Edo era of Japan. When was it? What was its console? Okay, so here's the next thing you have to know. This is for more context. So I come back to the States to go to undergraduate. So I come back to the States in 97. I still don't own a computer, right? Because I don't have money. But my school has computers. It has a computer lab. So I start buying some computer games on disk, of course, floppies, etc. That I used to play, I would generally play video games on computers in computer labs. When I was in, sorry, I just lied to you. ColecoVision was my console, but before that, I'd play arcade games. So I'd play arcade games, cabinets. I'd have my ColecoVision, and then I would play things on the computer, on disks in computer labs, and we only had Macs in our schools. And, so House of Dreams, that's why I didn't play it. So we only had Macs in schools, so I played various games you could play on the Mac in 1985 or 6. Fast forward, I come back to the States, I play what games you can play on a Mac in the computer lab of my college. So I'm playing, and it's near the end. So this is when I first play Deus Ex, The Sims, right? So that's about what I'm doing at that moment. And then I buy my very first computer because I'm going to grad school. And you need a computer to go to grad school. So I buy a MacBook, and I play games that you can play on a Mac. So just note, from the first time I got my very first computer, which was my senior year of undergrad, to today, my computers are all Mac computers. So if it is not available on the Mac, if it's PC only, I probably have not played it. So that's the first thing. So I'm playing those things. Then I'm hanging out as an undergraduate. I start playing WoW when it first comes out because somebody said, there's this new game. It's called WoW. But I'd already played Warcraft 3, the one that came, the strategy game that came right before World of Warcraft came out. So I played that. So that's one of the reasons I moved over there. Played some stuff, right? Then the brand new console era starts, and that is the PS2 and the Xbox era. And Xbox had Reign of Chaos. Thank you, Artist Snack. Reign of Chaos. Yep. I love that game. Played as a teenager on BBS in the 90s. Ooh. Both of them, I have to give Matt Gaming shade. Yeah, it's fine. Look, people who are the PC master race think they're the best. I'm just not going to argue with them. There's no point in arguing with people when it's not a conversation. I just don't argue when it's not a conversation. If people think PCs are the best, it's the master race, and they're better than everybody else is trash, that's fine. And then if the Linux people want to show up and say that they're better than everybody else and everybody else is trash, that's fine. I just am not going to get involved in that. I don't find it interesting. And so then I get the Xbox. And the reason why I get the Xbox is not because of Halo, which I don't care about, but because it had Knights of the Old Republic and also the sequel to Deus Ex were all going to be on the Xbox. So it turns out BioWare was basically doing only Xbox at the time, and there were a bunch of sort of Western RPGs that I really was interested in, and a bunch of adventure games. So Dreamfall, Still Life, so a bunch of point-and-click adventure games, and then RPGs. So I was playing the Xbox, and I did the Xbox. And then when the 360 and the PS3 came out, the PS3 was insanely expensive and not backwards compatible. So I went and I got the 360. That was when everyone was doing the Wii 60. Everyone was getting, like, you could get a Wii and a 360 for less than a PS3 at the time. Oh, Dreamfall, Nergobert. Dreamfall's so good. Love that. Love that game. Oh, I love KOTOR. And that's when I sort of fell in love with Obsidian Games. Yeah, a Wii 60, you're right. That was it, because it was like cheaper. The Wii 60 was just way cheaper than getting a PS3, which wasn't even backwards compatible. So then I was at the 360, which I still have my 360, and a bunch of games for it hanging out. I should probably set that up at some point. Anyhow, so I did that. So I missed anything that was PS2 or PS3 I did not get to play. And then when we got to the PS4 and the Xbox One era, neither one of them was backwards compatible. And I thought, well, there's some games that I want that are PS exclusives, so I'll just get the PS4 for this generation. And so I did. And now the PS5, I finally got a PS5. I could have gotten the Xbox other one, but the PS5, I think, was cheaper, so I got that one. So that's where I'm at in terms of consoles. So, and since I'm not a PC gamer, things that are, if it's on the console or a Mac, then I might have been able to play it. Otherwise, probably not. So that's where I'm at. So there are games that I probably have not played. Well, lots and lots of games. But again, it's not like I have all the time in the world. Right? Yeah, I went with PS because that was where Final Fantasy was back when I enjoyed them. I've been disappointed by the more recent Final Fantasy titles already. Well, here's the thing. They actually had a Final Fantasy for 360. I played Final Fantasy, which one was that? Was that 13, 10, 12, 13? 10. No, Final Fantasy 10 was the one with Meg Ryan, right? So Final Fantasy 13 is the one with Lightning. So that was available on the 360. So I got to play the Final Fantasy 13. Thank you. So I got to play Final Fantasy 13. I did get to play a little bit of Final Fantasy 10 with Meg Ryan at my friend's place. Yeah, Meg Ryan. Artie's like, I don't think Meg Ryan was in Final Fantasy X, but you see, the main character, what's his face? Meg Ryan, the guy with the one leg long and one leg short in his pants. Meg Ryan, the Titus. Yes, Titus. That's right. So my friend decided that Titus's hair looked like Meg Ryan's hair from one of those rom-coms, and so she would always call Titus Meg Ryan, and so that's how I know that character as Meg Ryan. So, yes. So Titus is, when I say Meg Ryan, I mean Titus. I'm so excited for the next Obsidian game. Yep. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. Look, that's what I have. Carlin says PS3 not being backwards compatible was probably a mistake for Sony, or maybe not, since it may have helped them win the Blu-ray wars. I mean, it's a good. Well, that's a good thing. I didn't need a Blu-ray at the time, so I wasn't really worried about it. You know what I mean? Because it was still, he had the hair from Addicted to Love. So yes, so I got to play some Final Fantasy. You know what was actually interesting about the 360? It also had some really good JRPGs. There was one I really enjoyed. It was Enchanted Arms, I think, and there was another one. So they had a couple of really cool JRPGs, which I got to play. And was it Enchanted Arms? Maybe it was. Anyway, it had like a chessboard. It was like a grid-based chessboard, turn-based combat, and I was like, that is really fun. Eternal Sonata, which I have, by the way, because I'm a music person, and I got it for work purposes. I was like, well, a game where you play Chopin or inside of Chopin's head as he's dying, I must get that for work. Yeah. Nigabert says, I'm cautiously optimistic about Avowed, but I'll probably have to wait for a while for a sale as 90 per game. Wait, what? $90 per game? Woo! Woo! Video games for work? Hey, I just taught a whole class on, I taught a class on ludomusicology last year, and it went really well. It was not just video games, it was also any kind of games. So we did some video games, of course, but we also did board games, hand clapping games. We talked about sports, the Olympics. It was just games in general, play and games and music, and it was very good. Polka's my favorite character design from Eternal Sonata. Let's see. Yeah. So that's my video game. So when it comes to have I played it X game, also, this is 70 US. Woo. Ooh. $90 for a game is cheaper than Nintendo Heyday, adjusted for inflation. Of course, wages haven't kept up with inflation. Good point. Good point. There was another thing, though, about this. And it was, what was it? Right. So here's what you have to know. I've never owned a Nintendo console. And I also missed... So, I'm Gen X of an era, and because I joined the Army in 1990 and was basically did not own things of my own for a very long time, there are a bunch of people who are really like the whole Sega Genesis, Nintendo, that whole era. I missed all of that, right? So like my Nintendo was basically the original Donkey Kong and the original Mario Brothers console, where they're like, just you're Luigi and Mario, and you're in that static. I love that game. It was so good. I used to play that forever. But there's a whole generation of folks for whom Nintendo is super, super important. And they played all these Nintendo games, but I never played any of them because I basically went from the Atari ColecoVision to the Xbox era, and I missed everything else in between. So like that is a gap. That's a gap. Yeah, that's my generation. Yeah, and like most of my friends are of House of Dreams' generation, and so they were all very invested in that, but I missed it. I did. Artie says, I have such a long backlist of games that by the time I'm ready for it, it'll probably be on sale, which is good. Rika Aoki bugged out to Irvine, but the evacuation order for the Sunset Fire got lifted and they're heading home. Oh, good to know. Thank you, Arissa. Now, my first console was an Atari 2500, but then I went right into Nintendo. Yeah, and actually, I didn't even have an Atari. I had the ColecoVision, which was the budget knockoff version. Yeah, just kind of how that went. Anyhow, goal, get that PS5 set up. Also goal, finish Disco Elysium. I don't know how long Disco Elysium is, but I think we should be able to finish it in 2025 and then play something else. Oh, Coleco had that cool keypad. Oh, Improv Gym, it did. And it had this game called Looping. Oh, it had some great games. I enjoyed my ColecoVision very much. Yeah. Oh, I also had, back in the day, they had the little handhelds. I didn't have the fancy handheld, but I had this one called, I wish I still had it, called Ski Slalom. It was one of those very, very early handheld video games that was very jank and not very exciting because it was a white box that you put a 9-volt battery in, and it had a little slider, and it was you had a screen, and the screen had it was like an LED screen, and the little slider would control this vertical line, and if you went you could either go left, center, or right, and you'd like move that with the little slider, and basically a little sound would go, and these little vertical lines would just start coming down because these were apparently the ski flags, I guess, and you had to just move the little thing to avoid getting hit by those things. It was not, yeah, you had a football game like that? Yes, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about, those games. From Tiger Electronics? I think so. It was like really, really, it was still the 70s. Let me think. I was still in elementary school, so it was either the very end of the 70s or the very beginning of the 80s. It was like right that era. Yeah, yes, that's right. Late 70s, early 80s is when that was. Yeah. Yeah, right. So that was that, and then I also had a very cool one that was like one of these ones that looked like binoculars. It was called like Tank Attack or something like this, or like Cyber Tank, and it was the same thing, right? All these games were the same. Where like basically you control a figure that's in the center. You can either go center, left, or right, and you have to try to avoid things coming at you. But this was 3D, which that was fun. But yeah, and I think I had a Game Watch. I think I might have had like a video game watch, because that was also a thing in the early 80s. Yeah. But I have not actually had a handheld. You know, the modern handhelds like the Game Boy or the Sega Vega, the Sega the Sony Game Boy and the Sony Prism, Sony View, Sony PSX, thank you. And a driving one that had an actual physical car you could steer back and forth on a road to whatever cars were painted on the roadway. That actually, yeah. PSP, that's what it was called, the PSP. Thank you. I've not had any one of those, and one of these days I probably should, but I haven't had one yet. The modern sort of handhelds. But on the other hand, do I actually even need a modern handheld, because I can play all sorts of games on my phone? So yeah, that's video games. I'm hoping we'll be getting new video game. Well, we have one new video game in 2025, and that will be Hitman. And then we're going to finish up Disco Elysium, and then I hope we will do some excellence in narrative video games on the Mac, and we'll see how long it takes us to play Hitman. Krillin says, I have never had a handheld either, but I did have friends with Game Boys back in the heyday of Game Boy. Oh, yeah. Right, the phones are handhelds. That's what I feel like. You like your Switch Lite? Oh, I know people have the Switch. They like that very much, because you can do both, right? Game Boys after your time. Mine too, but a phone is a modern handheld. According to Blizzard, everyone has a phone. Yes. Max Rider, you and me both. So, let's talk RPGs. And then we'll do some other stuff. So, what did we do in 2024 in terms of RPGs? Well, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All we have to do is look at my streaming schedule page, and then Crown doesn't have a phone. It's fair. We did some going solo. Call of Cthulhu Alone Against the Dark. I was playing Carousel Court over on Praxis channel. We started that before 2024, but we finished that arc. We finished the arc in the beginning of the year. We played Sandman. First time we played Sandman. That was part of a Streamiversary that came in the year before, but we did Sandman Adventure 2. I did more going solo. I did 2D6 Dungeon, which we still have to finish Testocles' journey. Then we did, I was over in Vancouver by Night a bit, Montreal by Night, Season 5. So we finished up that year. I did a one-shot of Daggerheart, Change Stars, did Overgrown on Wandering Inns, did Our Brilliant Ruin, a two-shot, Grand Hotel, which was the prequel for Wandering DM's Batman Gotham game. I did some, Horizon Zero, don't say that, don't even worry about that. We did The Gamblers, Season 4 and 5. I did some more going solo, Shadows of the Old Subway, both in GURPS and Call of Cthulhu, which was really fun. And I want to do that again because that person, which is like One Shot Adventures.com or whatever, does a number of adventures that are in two different systems. And I want to actually do more of that. That was really fun. I really liked that. We did our Crash Jones and the Dungeon of Peril. I want to do more Crash Jones probably in the summer, because Crash Jones needs like 4 or 5 sessions in a row, so probably then. Kernels of Mystery, you don't know if that is yet, but that's going to be on YouTube. That's not out yet. I did some Cthulhu Confidential with Jackie Dash, Seasons of Death with PB Plays, and also Ari. I did a guest over on Praxis VTM game. We did Reading Between the Lines. I GM'd over on Lindy's channel, Good Society. That was really fun. I did Max Rider's Hollywood Halloween Cthulhu game, which was also super fun as a one-shot. Veterans Day charity with Prax. Letters to the Stars as far as Streamiversary, big, huge thing that was really fun. And then I did some Tidal Blades, did the Showdown finally, and then Sandman Adventures 3. That was all of the RPGs that I did last year. Yeah, the ballsy. And that was like really fun. I really enjoyed that. So that was like again, I was a little bit down on RPGs, mostly in terms of on other people's channels because I was just so busy. Unfortunately, I was teaching like basically 5 days a week, including the prison, 4 days a week, including the prison. I had no time. So I wasn't able to do as many streams on other people's channels as I would like. That makes me sad. Also, I'm a Skull and resident, so I have to have at least one day out of the week where I'm doing stuff with residents. So, I try to make it up in the summer is what I try to do. I try to, I remember mowing lawns to get the Atari 2600. Yes. We're playing Horizon Zero Dawn so I can play Horizon Forbidden West is on my list. I actually have to play Horizon Forbidden West as well. Yeah. So what am I looking forward to on RPGs? I think we should talk about that. And since we are talking about that, we can talk also finances because I like to be transparent. I'm going to actually put the after action report up on Patreon so you can all know about it, but I can give you the what's the word? Preview. So here's what happens, right? The early scoop. Thank you, Valtio. I'll be shooting you invites to play in the out of print game playtest I'm going to start doing in. Nice. Thank you. So here's what happens, right? I pay the cast $50 in an episode. So I try to keep my cast to about 4 players, which means each episode costs $200 for cast costs. Nothing else is included. Right. And, right. So we're looking at $800 a month. Now, because the Gamblers is 5 players, that's $1,000 a month that's going out. So because of that, I try to be strategic over the hiatus, right? So like in the hiatus, I try to do solo games or duo games, things that will cost less so that $280 I get a month on Patreon can carry over, and I can use that to basically like as a cushion to pay for, the cast during the regular year. So that tends to be my strategy, is to try to do some solo games or duo games, things like that in the hiatus, so that I can sort of catch up, as it were. And let me tell you how it went, how everything went financially. Now, I'm going to note, let's see. So last year, we started Gamblers Season 1. 2024. Let's see. 2024. There we go. So 2024 starts with the interstitial, right? It starts with, because we finished the Gamblers at the end of 2023, that last season, Season 3. So we start off with some interstitial stuff. We do some Sandman, some miscellaneous, right? And that's only for January and February, just 2 months. And that month is... what was my outgo for that? It's like, yeah, so mostly it was a lot of going solo, so I didn't have to spend a lot of money for those 2 months. We did the Sandman, I paid some royalties, but that was a time where basically I was like, let me try to go mostly do solo so I can sort of save up some money, which ended up being good. I think overall I earned about almost $700 in those 2 months and spent about 300 and some. So like I was able to bank 300 and some. Then we had Season 4 of the Gamblers, which, and like a couple of one-shots, Daggerheart, Change Stars. And that was a season that mostly was a loss, but remember, I've got like a nest egg that like is slowly draining. That's fine. And please note, I'm not paying myself. I have not paid myself anything since March of 2023. That's the last time I paid myself. So anyhow, because everybody else goes first. But that was like, still, it was like a little bit of a loss. Well, actually, I think it's a bit more than a little bit of a loss, but that was fine because if we don't count the nest egg that I had, that's 1,463. Oh, wait, hold on. I did this the other way. 893 minus 1,463. I didn't do that right. Boom. So 893 minus 1,463. So, no, that's not even right. So, like, I had a, like, season 4 of The Gamblers was like a loss of $570, which means it comes out of my pocket, right? Theoretically, except that we had, I still had a nest egg, so I didn't have to take it out of my pocket. But that was what season 4 of The Gamblers was. Then we had our summer, sort of June through August, which again was going solo to help, right? Going solo, but then we did some duos. We had Seasons of Death, and then we had Seasons of Death again twice. We had some Cthulhu Confidential, going solo. So like that was the summer was trying to like, catch up in general. And that was true. I will say that something happened, and it was we had some really good, like that was like a pretty good interstitial. I think we did pretty well there in that I think we actually came out ahead. Artie, I get paid last. That's the long and short of it. And if I don't get paid, then I don't get paid, and that's just how that goes. So we had, let's see, what was our outgo? Our outgo was really good. So because I did a lot of solo stuff and duo stuff, I only had spent $550 outgo for the interstitial.
Game.
But the name game. Come on, everybody. Well, see, now, Max, just because you can't get paid doesn't mean money's not going to go out to you. I had somebody who couldn't get paid, and so they just asked that I donate that money to a charity, and so whatever that would have been their pay went to a charity instead, because that matters to me. You know what I'm saying? It matters. It does. That said, come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say Bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a F, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Crit twitch, bo bitch twitch, banana, fanner, fo pitch twitch, fee, fi, mo mit twitch. Crit twitch, the name game. Woo! Oh, thank you. Ah, so nice. Thank you for the resub. It is much appreciated. So technically, the sub income does not go to pay the cast, but I do it anyway. Theoretically, it's supposed to go to help pay for like tech and things like that, but you know how it is. So I did really well, right? That interstitial period was a good time. Only spent like $550 because it was just doing duos and solos. And we had a pretty good income total though. So we got like minus that is not even a number. So we got like almost $2,000 in that interstitial spot. About 550 I spent. So we end up having like a net pause of about 1,400, which is important because I need it when the season starts, right? So then after that, we did the last season of The Gamblers, which just finished, where I did The Gamblers, finished that up, and then paid art commissions, because we've got art commissions coming in for the tarot deck, which is not insignificant either. So overall, for the last season, we got income 26, somebody gave $1,000, which really helped out. $2,677 was our income for last season, but our outgo for last season was $3,465. So 3,465. So we were down like 780 something bucks from last season. So that was like a loss. But because we had the extra from before, right, that covered that loss. So like, I know that we don't really make enough money to pay for the casts for The Gamblers just with what we get. Cause we like our Patreon's like $280, which is not going to cover the $1,000 of The Gamblers. And we get donations here and there, which is really, really helpful. It really helps out. But I know that it's a bit of a loss. And so I always try to go and make sure that in the breaks, I do something that will allow me to like catch up a little bit. Yeah, whoever I don't know was anonymous. Whoever donated that $1,000 really helped it go from like a negative 780 to 1,700, like almost negative 1,800 to just negative 780. So it was really, really good. That's wonderful. So if we look at the whole year, I can say I'm happy to say that last year, 2024, we had an income of $7,612.97, and that includes Patreon, tips, bits, and like the $80 that I've earned off of Fourth Wall merch so far. And our outgo was $7,209. So we had a total income over the whole year of $403, which I could use to pay myself, but I won't, because I'm going to keep it in the bank so that I can pay the cast for 2025. Now, this is also really, I wish I could, don't even worry about it. You currently one income household in California. I get it. Now, I will say that 2023 was the year that I decided to run 2 full cast games over the summer. I ran Motor City, Hollow Crown, and also The Gamblers. So I did 2 full cast shows over the summer, and Motor City, Hollow Crown did not earn much at all. So, and of course, I don't have the Patreon. I don't have a Patreon that can really sustain 2 RPGs at once, although I really wish I did. So last year, 2023, our income was $8,086, so $400 more than this year, but our outgo was $10,045. So we lost about $2,000 last year, but again, I have been very, very frugal, and I've been saving, like I stopped paying myself so that I could save anything extra so that we could do that. So I don't think I can do 2 full cast RPGs on my channel this summer, just because it doesn't look like we're in the zone, but I might be able to do 1 full cast, or like, I'll see what I can do. I'm going to be doing some going solo. I'll do some Crash Jones. I'll do some other stuff. And I'll try to do some full cast stuff, maybe like a short shot, something like that. If some of us volunteer, would you consider doing something like Table Stories Non-Canon as a channel fundraiser? If some of us volunteer. Well, the thing is, so a couple of things. The first is, Table Story doesn't do tips and bits, so they don't raise money during the show itself. They just have the the fundraising streams, I have tips and bits that come in during the show. So I feel like if people want to go and support the show, they will if they can, and then we'll go from there. I also don't actually like the dynamic of people giving money to impact the show, which is what you do if you want to drive more money. There are ways to get more money, and there are ways to do that involve allowing people to donate money to have things happen. And I don't really like what that does, and so I don't tend to do it. That's just a thing. And when it comes to am I factoring costumes for myself? I am not. So so just so you know, all the money that we're talking about right now is only paying the cast and also commissions of artwork or things like that. It's not what is not being counted in terms of outgo is costumes, tech, subscriptions, all the stuff all the money that I spend to on subscriptions for programs, tech, to buy costume pieces, to buy lights, because I had to get new lights. None of that stuff, none of it is included in the outgo for this, right? Because if we actually looked at the outgo, if we included, if I theoretically paid myself or included all the, which I'm just not going to do right at this moment, if we included the tech and all of that, it would not be, we would not have made $403 last year. Let me just put it that way. It would be as my tax person knows, it would be a lot more of a loss. But that players first. Players first. Have you considered Patreon level where someone can sponsor an entire season of something? No idea if any of the current Battle Buddies is up to it, but it's a thought. Well, the thing is, Rissa, right now I've got the sponsorship tier, which is $200, which will pay for 1 week of one episode, one show, 1 week, with a cast of 4, and it's limited to four Patreons, and we only have 1 at the moment. And I don't think it makes sense to include like a full tier, like a full season tier on Patreon, if we haven't filled up our sponsors tier yet. So if we get to the point where we get 4 sponsors, then I would feel comfortable putting in a higher like full season tier. But I want to wait till we get the full sponsor tier up first. That's right. That seems to make sense. Yeah. So, I figured I would ask because I do care about this channel and all I have to offer is time and talent. Yes. They could probably do it at tip. Yeah. So I still wish I could, but need the funds. Hey, I honor that. So now when it comes to free cast, here's a thing that has been really important to me from the very, very beginning. I have paid my cast from day one. Even when I was making no money, right? When I was getting 0 income, I still paid my cast. Before tips and bits were coming, like from day one, I was paying my casts. I have been lucky that everybody here has been so generous that only the very first full season did I lose money at all. And like I had to pay out of my pocket, and that was like $75. Ever since then, with being very frugal about alternating solo sessions and duo sessions with full cast sessions, even when the season or the year loses money, there's still enough left over that like it hasn't been a problem yet. In case you care, at the moment, we currently have $1,525 in our slush fund, which is what? 1 month? Like it's a month and a half. So we currently have a month and a half of a full cast in the slush fund. We're in the hiatus right now, which will be this January and February is the hiatus, which will give us what? That's 2 months of Patreon, so about $500 will come in. So that's $2,000 about total. So that's going to give us 2 months worth of slush fund to help balance out what's going to with the next season. So that's yeah. So that's what it does. Well, since you played, but here's the thing. I have to say this is really important to me. This is really one of my very important values, and that is I'm going to pay my cast. When I first started paying the cast, it was only $25 a session because I figured, okay, I can afford to pay. If nobody donates anything, I can afford to pay $100 a week at the moment for this. And here's why I pay the cast. I will tell you, because we are talking about this at the Foxhole. I think I would share this with you. When I first started, I watched a lot. Oh, go to sleep. I watched a lot of streams and how they operated, what they did to earn money, how they functioned, and I saw a lot of things. I saw channels that earned a lot of money by creating a hostile environment where they encouraged the audience to troll or to warp, or they created popularity contests between players, and they made a lot of money. But I didn't like that environment, so I said, I'm not going to let that happen. And if you notice, you can't spend money to impact games in my shows. I know I could make more money if I did. I know that. I know that if I set up those incentives in that way, I would make more money, but I don't like that. There are ways to mitigate it so it's not as bad, but I would prefer to use when the audience can impact the show, it's usually through channel points, which are free. That makes me feel more comfortable because I did not like the kind of audience that it built when we had that other thing. And I'll tell you what, I really love this audience. So, right, if we're going to do that, it'll be like a one shot and it'll be for charity, right? But I don't want to do that for the channel itself. The next thing that I noticed back then is that there were channels who did not pay their cast. And there are still channels that do not pay their cast. As a matter of fact, most channels do not pay their cast. At the very sad rate of $50 an episode, I'm one of the higher paid channels around here because most people don't earn money, right? Like, you have to remember, out of all the channels that are streaming, 0.5% of channels are partnered, and you've got maybe like 12, 13% that are affiliated, which means over 80% of all of the channels are not monetized at all. So the vast majority of the channels that you see are not making any money. They get zero income. So they can't pay their cast. Like, they just
Name
can't.
game.
Oh, I'll finish this thought after I say the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Krellin, bobellin, banana, fanna, fulfillin, fee, fi, mo, melon. Krellin, the melon, felon, the name game. Thank you for that resub, Krellin. All subs are very much appreciated. Hey, Lightning Invoker, how you doing? How you doing? Yes. So here's the thing about. So most people are not monetized at all, right? That's the first thing to know. So most people cannot pay anyone. Most channels don't pay anyone at all. I am on many channels that do not pay, and I do not mind because they're not making any money. The next thing you get is you'll often get channels that will split tips and bits that come in during that show, which again, tips and bits that come in during a show, you're often looking at something like $50, $60, if that. So I've been on shows where I got $25 for an entire season, or most of the shows I've been pay nothing because they're not making anything, or might get $25 for an entire season, or maybe we'll split tips and bits, which means maybe if we're lucky, we get like $5 or $6. Every once in a while I'll get shows that will pay, but that's very few and far between because most shows don't make money, right? And the thing is about that, I have found there were some channels back in the day when people were still excited about stuff. People were mistakenly under the impression that you could make huge amounts of money, including sponsors. I don't know if you know this, but like, I don't think actually Roll20 sponsors much anymore at all. And when they did, it was like $50 a month, right? So like, even the sponsors are not actually paying people much, but there was a time when people were, and you had channels that were making decent money and were not paying their casts. And people started feeling very resentful. They're like, I'm playing on your channel and you're making money off of my labor and you're not giving me any, and you're now like going to the Bahamas because you're wealthy. Now, there are a couple of things about that. One, some people, very few channels, maybe like 2 or 3, like It Me JP or something like that, a couple of them were actually making big bucks, and they really should have been paying their casts because they weren't, and that's not cool. But some of them were actually not making much money at all, but players perceived them making huge amounts of money and thought it was unfair, and those channels all basically crashed and burned. So I want to make it very, very clear that I am going to compensate my players, and there's going to be no confusion about that. I do not want at any time ever to exploit anybody's labor, nor do I want there to be the perception of exploitation of labor. So I'm going to pay my casts. That's it. Because otherwise that opens up a space like happened some time ago that I have watched a lot of channels collapse and have big, massive problems, and I am not going to repeat any of those mistakes that those channels made. So no, I am, yeah. So and now the thing is, and this has also happened, people are like, well, I'll just volunteer. But then what ends up happening is they think it's also their channel. And I've seen channels crash and burn because those volunteers now believe that they were part owner of that channel. And then they tore the channel down because not everybody has good intentions, and not everybody is reasonable. And so I'm not going to have volunteers that way either. That's right. So we're going to make everything very, very clear, right? Where everything is going to make sure everybody's compensated. And because of that, even though I would love to run 2 full cast streams on my channel in the summer when I have the time, I don't have the income at the moment. I will try to do 2 streams if one of them is like a solo stream or something like that, so that I can, build up the slush fund so that I can pay the full cast. But it is really important, and I know that people want to volunteer. If they really want to volunteer, they can, but then I'm going to put the money I would have paid them to a charity of their choice, right? Because I need this to be, it's important to me that there is A, no exploitation of labor, and B, no perception of exploitation of labor. And it's also one of the reasons why I'm very, very, very transparent with all the money that comes in. I am not particularly transparent about all the money that goes out because I'm actually only telling you what the costs are for the cast and commissions, and I'm not telling you about how much money I'm spending on RPGs, how much money I'm spending on tech, equipment, costume pieces, all of that. I just have not shared how much money I'm just spending for the channel, but that's okay. That's fine. You don't need to worry about that. At least I can tell you this part, right? Because Dimension 20 isn't on Twitch that I know of. No, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Critical Role is the only primarily RPG channel that makes any significant amount of money. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, Krillin, I don't think they make the most of their money from Twitch, right? I think they make most of their money from their company, right? That's why they went into publishing. They went into publishing because that's where the money is, right? Yeah. I applaud you for your ethics. It's one of the many reasons I drink. Well, thank you. We all know that Foxhole is your hobby that you do instead of spending all that money on Warhammer movies. This is correct. Now, I can write it off onto my taxes, although I was told by my tax preparer that this year I have to make a profit because I have thus far not made any profit. So I will just not write off this stuff that I write off normally. I'll say I'll just not mention some of my expenses and I'll make some kind of a profit, and there we go. So at least it will do that thing. Yeah. Yeah. Some things are not others' business for sure. I don't think people need to know every avenue you're spending. Oh, Lightning Invoker. For me, it's about the reason why I don't share how much money I'm spending on RPGs is not because I'm trying to be personal, secretive, but because everything that people give me, right? Because this channel exists because people give me money. And I feel like I need to be held. I want transparency and accountability for the things that the money that you have given me. I want to show you where I put it. And at the moment, the money that you give me, I'm only spending on cast and commissions. All the rest of that stuff is just my own personal money that I'm spending out of pocket. So if I were to spend any of your money that you have given to me out of the kindness of your heart on anything other than casts and commissions, I would tell you. But at the moment, I have not. So the minute I start spending your money on things other than cast and commissions, then I will tell you. Because that, I think, is about the accountability that's accountability for me. Because I care about you all and I want you all to know what you are up to. There you go. If you don't make a profit, shouldn't you get a bailout? Oh, right, you're already rich. This is the case. Hey, Bulletproof Kate, how you doing? Don't even worry about it. I got you. I appreciate you. Yeah, right. So there's no banning. So that is, I think, how the finances have gone for 2024. Again, I've not paid myself for a while now. And look, the only reason I wish I was rich so I could fund my friends. Me too. And look, I will tell you something else. This is a thing that I will tell you, and it's a thing that you don't have to worry about, but I have resisted certain things, right? There are certain things that I resist because of how I am. And that is, I don't put much behind a paywall on Patreon. Like, mostly Patreon is like, give me $3 if you want. Right? Because I always feel bad about paywalls. I will do something like, when we do our arena game, patrons will have first pick. They can sign up first, and then everybody else can sign up if there's still slots left. I'm still thinking about various things, but one of the reasons why I can do all of this, is because I do not currently pay rent because I do 3 jobs, ish, right? I'm a scholar in residence, so I live in a dorm with my students, and I do programming with them every week, every month, and so I don't have to pay rent. And so the money that I would spend on rent is here, ready to go spend on this stuff. Now, what happens when I have to move off of campus, which I really need to do really soon, have to start paying rent again? Then we will see. It would be great if tips and bits, and I would feel better if we had enough money in the Patreon to fully cover one of the shows. That would be really, really great, because then I could have a second show or pay myself, that kind of thing. But we don't currently have that. Maybe one day we will, maybe we won't. We'll find out. We'll see. I'll see what we can do to help sort of boost that sort of thing. But, it is life. Modding for the channel for labor of love. We mods are not part of the overhead. No, but I do give mods a gift. I try to do that, right? Bulletproof says, oh my God, that's awesome that you teach. Yes, you studied CS in college? Nice. I don't, musicology. So I'm a musicologist. I teach music history, which, love it. So I would love it would be really great if our Patreon could increase its stuff, but you know how life is right now. Nobody's doing particularly well, so it is what it is, and we're fine. Have I looked at Ko-Fi? I heard you get to keep more. Oh, yeah, I taught music history. I do. I teach music history. I do popular music studies. So I teach history of African-American music, queer pop, history of rock and roll, the international jazz age. I just taught a class on ludomusicology, so music and play, soul, like all sorts of stuff. Yeah, jazz, all that good stuff. Do you know about Alone Against Nyarlathotep? Maybe. I have to check my records. Coding. Oh, no. Maybe I do. I don't know. Ko-Fi. I don't think Ko-Fi is going to give you the things that you want. Like some people are switching over to Fourth Wall for their membership. I'll think about that in the future, but I don't particularly want to lose my current base. So we will see. We will see. Merch. I should mention merch. We have merch out. We don't have a new round of merch yet, but I'm working on the Deck of Sun and Shadows with Rocket Fox, which will be new merch. And I want to put out, we need to do some new merch, but I don't yet have what it is. I know what I want, and so I've got to spend some time designing it, and then we can have some new merch. Then I can sort of cycle out some old merch, cycle in some new merch, and that should be nice. But again, I will note that the merch store does not bring in huge amounts of money, right? Like, again, I made like $40 on it total, probably, most likely. If we don't count the money I've spent gifting people stuff, because obviously we have to gift people stuff because gifting people stuff is awesome. Let's see, what have I done with Fourth Wall? I have, over the entire time I've had Fourth Wall, I have made, I don't think I'm in the black with Fourth Wall, or I am by like $40, but that's fine. I just want the ability, look, I want a merch store so I can give merch to my mods and my cast, and then you can guys buy stuff if you want it. That's what it's there for. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm sure I have it. Yeah, and Max, the deck is gonna. We're just waiting. Rocket's got to finish the art. We've got to put it in, but it's gonna come out, and I'm really excited. And what I want for merch, by the way, the new merch I want is sweats, because we're getting into the winter. I think we need some good sweats for the gamblers, and we're gonna check it out. So let's see. I should say this about RPGs and solo RPGs. I want to do some more Crash Jones, which I really enjoy, but I also want to do some other solo games that are not one-shots. There's some that I've picked up that I want to do. I want to do some more Call of Cthulhu, of course. I've got this D&D 5e solo game that I picked up that I was like, this seems interesting. So there are more solo games I want to do that are probably not one-shots, and so I have to sort of wait. I'm probably going to have to wait the summer to do those. Life as it is. Can you tell it's supposed to be winter? Oh, it's never winter in LA. So that is the merch store. I've got to go into the I hope I can find that tab. I found a location that would allow me to buy the so I made this. It's a one-off. I only got one of these. And the place that I got this is just not a wholesaler. And I found a place that does do wholesale, which I'd have to order it, make it, get a bunch of them, and then link it to Fourth Wall, because Fourth Wall doesn't do it. And then like do the shipping myself or whatever. But I might sort of make get 20 of them or something. So I hope I can get those out. Anyway, there's going to be like a little bit weirdness with merch, but I hope in 2025 we can get some new merch. It would be really great to commission some new Gamblers art for the new season, because actually one of my goals is to commission new Gambler art, because everybody's looking a little bit different. Everything's a little different. So I really want new Gambler art, which means we can get new merch. That would be great. I think I made an error on. Oh, please, if you could, Hawkeye, if you could re-record it, that would be really great. The flask is metal. It is metal with a vinyl wraparound, so it's a nice metal flask. It's good. It's good. Yeah. So there was something else. Oh yeah. There are these other things that I really want to do, and they just involve time. And some of these things are things that are value added. Like I was able to put Night Witches on IMDb, and I've not put The Gamblers or City of Light and Shadow on IMDb, and I really want to do that. So I want to, because I think that'll be really nice for my players. I want to put that on IMDb. I haven't done that yet. I've got this like little special secret thing that I want to do for you all, because I think you'll appreciate it, but I've not done that yet. Time. But that's going to be for the Gamblers. I'd like to do it. There's some, I want to run the arena. I want to run the Y2K one shot. Those are two things I want to do. That's important to me. And I suppose I should say there's tech, right? So in terms of tech, I've got these two new microphones. One, a replacement for this pod mic, which I really need to set up. And then the second one is a really nice headset mic that I want to use when I'm doing RPGs. That I've got to set up as well. Also, I've been using Video Ninja, and Video Ninja has some really interesting capabilities and possibilities. And to really take advantage of it, I want to test out. I've got this whole setup here, but I also want to test out running Video Ninja on my laptop at the same time so that I can use Video Ninja to record each individual video feed so that I could then do something kind of cool with it for YouTube. But that is when I have time. So I've got some like tech I need to set up that I would like to do. That would be nice. Does it cost to put things on IMDb? No, it doesn't cost you anything but time. You have to actually qualify, but we do. We qualify to put things up there, so I can do it. It's just that it just takes time. And, you know, pie in the sky, I have a transcription of every stream that I've done that's an RPG. And if I had the extra time, because I don't have the money, right, to get somebody to do closed captioning properly costs like $300, $400, $500 per episode, which I clearly don't have. So if I have the extra time in my life, what I would really love to do is go through the transcriptions that I have by hand, put closed captions on YouTube, the YouTube videos, but do them properly. Not because the thing about captions, right? I have transcriptions for everything, Bulletproof Cape, everything. They need to be corrected, of course. Might suggest that one of your mods with instruction might be able to do some of those things as your delegate. It just takes so much time. You know what I mean? I don't want to put that on anybody else. It takes a lot of time because here's the thing. What people do in the streaming world is they just do the automatic captions that are burned in through their open captions, and open captions are not great because they actually there's a conflict of accessibility. There are people for whom, if they have captions on, it means they cannot participate in the stream. Like some people with ADHD or various audio-visual processing problems, if there are open captions they cannot turn off, then they can't do the stream. So I prefer closed captions, which I do have going on right now. You can turn on closed captions on Twitch. That's what I do. But the thing about all the automatic captions is that they're not proper captions. Proper captions are done to certain standards, right? So proper captions have the name of who's speaking. They also describe sound effects. They describe all sorts of things, music, right? Proper captions. And proper captions are set up so that you only have a certain number of words on the screen at a given time. Like you actually have to do it proper. And nobody's really doing it proper because it costs huge amounts of money or time. So whenever I get the time, I will go and do it proper. I just don't have the time at the moment. So that's like pie in the sky goal. I also want to do my big data collection for streaming in general, which I've been doing data collection, but not been able to like write up the reports that I can give you later. So I'm happy to do that. That's just one of the things I want to do, hopefully sometime soon. That I will do, though. So those are all the tech things. I think the last thing to share with you all, besides all of that, is, by the way, I had to get a new mic preamp, inline preamp, but I did it. Mic's better. I do have one other thing I can share with you, though. Let me see. Let me get it. I can share with you. This is all very preliminary, but I do have a couple other things that I can share that you might find interesting. Yes, because we're about to go, you know. Let me see. Let me get these numbers. Let me get the right data for you. Because I've not shown you all the data, of which I do a lot of data stuff in ways that you probably should be worried about me. You probably should be. That's what I would recommend. Yeah, I would be worried about me. Let me get it. So here is, I do some data collection. Actually, I do a lot of data collection, just generally speaking. This here, I can show you, is my data collection for last year, which also includes data collection for month and week, and et cetera, et cetera. Here, let me get this for you. And I'll have you. This is not going to mean anything for you just yet because it's too small, but I'm going to just kind of go through to show you some stuff, and then I'll make it bigger for you. Let's see. Oh, actually, I can make it bigger over here. These are things that, again, I find quite interesting, and I like to share with you. Don't worry about that werewolf feels. Don't worry. I feel like we're gonna end soon. So, first things first, data collection. I keep a record of every single RPG stream that I do, and I have got the date, of course. I've got the stream length, the minutes, the watch time that people watched it, the average viewer count, the maximum viewer count, how many followers I gained. Followers per hour is no longer a thing, and I can give you an average of all that data for everything I've done so far in my time streaming RPGs on my channel, only for my channel. Oh, I should not have closed that one thing because there's some interesting stuff there on that other channel that I didn't do, but that's fine. I also keep a record of my YouTube views, which there's some interesting stuff in there, which I think that you would also find interesting, but I need my calculator. Here we go. Right. Okay. So, at the moment, overall, I've got for everything, right? I've got like an average of 28 viewers, and an average max viewers of 43, which is pretty good. That's for my whole RPG streams. Pretty good, actually. But I also do this by show. So, and then I can compare the shows against each other, see how they're doing. And I also have charts for my long-running RPGs, which I'm going to show you right now. Why? Because you might want to know it. So this here is a chart of Drynax, the Gamblers. Each episode by season, right? So we can see how it's doing. So if we look at this right here, this is the entire run, all 5 seasons of Drynax. This blue line represents the hours watched, the watch time, which is how you are ranked in popularity in most aggregates. So you can see we started off here. We ended the season actually on a big high note, so that's pretty good. This was we've had on a general downward trend in terms of watch hours, but we've been going up at the very last bit, so that's pretty good. With this gray line is our maximum viewers, which has been pretty steady, and then the yellow line is our average viewers, which again is pretty steady, pretty okay. So our numbers are doing pretty decent. We can also look here, and I can zoom in a little bit more so you can see this a little bit better. Whoop. Here we go. There we go. So this is hours watched by season. Each one of these lines represents a different season of Drynax. So you can see how each season compares to each other. This one here is season 1, which is, of course, is the one that has done the best. This is of hours watched. This is season 2, which actually, is pretty good. This line here is season 3, which had our lowest low, but still ended pretty decent. And this is season 4, which is our gray. And here's season 5, which I still feel pretty good about. I think our season 5 is doing good with hours watched. And then we have our average viewer count by season, which, actually not bad. Again, I'm feeling pretty good. And here's our max viewers. For some reason, episode 8 has had huge spikes in viewership. Don't ask me why, but that is what that is. That said, I have stats for all the shows. What you might find interesting, though, are my graphs. Let me zoom in here. So this here, just in case you might find this kind of interesting, are all of the different, was there nudity in episode 8? Maybe, but for both seasons. So these graphs here represent all the shows compared against each other. So if you look at this, this is hours watched. So the show on my channel that has done the best in terms of hours watched on average is City of Light and Shadow, has had the best minutes watched. The second best has been Miscellaneous, actually. But that's actually pretty close. The next one up is Drynax, the Gamblers, is our third best. And our fourth best is the GURPS Arena. So we've got to come back to our GURPS Arena. And then after that is Cthulhu Confidential, which is our next big one, which I think is pretty good. When it comes to average viewers, City of Light and Shadow again, number 1. Number 2 is actually Cthulhu Confidential, I think, actually. Yeah, Cthulhu Confidential is the next best when it comes to average viewers. And then Miscellaneous, and then Drynax. And then when it comes to peak viewers, that's City of Light and Shadow again. and then Cthulhu Confidential. Cthulhu Confidential does very, very well, and this is for stream, and then Miscellaneous, and then The Gamblers, and then Followers of Gain is not that very interesting. We don't care about that. Cthulhu Confidential is so good. We're going to get more of it, but I have something else to share with you that I took off the screen, but let me show you this. You might find this super interesting. So this is my rankings for 2025. So what I do, in case you care, because you should worry about me, is I actually keep a record of, at the end of every week, I see where I'm sitting in the rankings of the TTRPG category, and then also where I would sit if I were in the D&D category. So I just do this every week to see how I'm doing, right where I'm at. And then I also do it for the month. So every month I see where I'm at in every month. And then I also do this for every year. I keep a running total of where I'm doing every year. So if we look at the total year from year on, year end to year end, the very first year, which I wasn't streaming that much, I was at the top 5, 6, right? But ever since 2020, I've been in the top 1 to 2% of TTRPG streamers in terms of watch count. And when it comes to peak viewers, I started off at 1.8, then 2.2, 3.3, 5.2. I'm at 6.3, top 6.3% for peak viewers. I'm sitting around top 6% for peak viewers and average viewers in the TTRPG category, top 101%. Now, here's what's really interesting. There are far more streamers that stream D&D than they stream the tabletop category, but the tabletop category is way more competitive. But it has a better ratio. There are about 7,000 people who stream in the tabletop RPG category. About 14,000 at the peak. It was 20,000 for D&D. If in the D&D category, if I were streaming under the D&D category, which I'm not, I would be under 1%. I'd be in the top 0.8. I'm pretty consistently top 0.8, 0.7, 0.9% for watch time, 5%, 4%. So my numbers are better under D&D if I were in that category, but I'm not running D&D, so I'm not in that category. But nonetheless, even though I'm looking at my watch time, it was 6,757 hours last year in watch time, which is down from 7,000, but still pretty good. My stream time, which here's what's interesting, because you know how my number of streams was down last year versus the year before, but my hours of streaming is actually up. So I streamed 286 hours last year, up from 269. My peak viewers was 49 last year, which was down from 65, but fine. And my average viewer count for this year was 24, which is down, but hopefully we'll bring that back up. My follower count's still pretty good. My followers gained this year was not as good as it could have been, but again, I think that my numbers are still pretty good. But I have to tell you, I should say this, what you're seeing this sort of decline, but this is actually a decline that is universal across all channels, actually. If you look at Twitch's, the D&D category was down 20% in terms of watch time this year. So a lot of the categories are not doing as well this year as they were last year. And I would say Twitch itself, of course, had this big, huge peak during the pandemic. And ever since then, all the numbers are going down because the pandemic just was really, really, what's the word? So inflated numbers. So everybody's sort of contracting a little bit. But I feel pretty good about the fact that I'm still in the top 1%. So I'm pretty happy, even though the numbers are constricting a little bit. That's what I would say about that. Max Ryder, why are you worried about me? You shouldn't worry about me at all. Between all this data crunching and Ultraver's late night prep rabbit holes, I now have a clear picture of why he's never asleep when he should be. Well, I would say that's because there's hundreds of games that fall under TRPG and just one under D&D. But Vancouver, the thing is, people play all sorts of games under the D&D category. The D&D category still has all sorts of streams that are not D&D under it, because many people believe that D&D is a better category. If you stream under D&D, you'll become more famous, more popular. That is just not true. It's not actually a better category. But people, and my data crunching right now, which is not completely finished, involves a whole bunch of channels. Because people stream TTRPGs under Dungeons & Dragons, anything, tabletop RPGs, which is more European. Actually, comparing the TTRPG, tabletop RPG category versus the Dungeons and Dragons category is fascinating. It's super interesting. But there's also other categories that people stream their RPGs under. Invisible Sun, not that big. Most of the other categories are pretty small, to be honest. Let me see if I can find that data. Hold on a second. Let me get there for you. Give me a moment. Let me get out of that. Let me find this data because this is my data analysis for last year, which is mostly good. For 2023, I'm gathering 2024 right now as we are speaking. 2023, is this the one I want? Probably not. Oh, no, that's me doing more data crunching in weird ways. Don't worry about it. Year-end Sully data, raw, dupes, analytics combined. I think we want this. Okay. And some people really do wild things and make the data quite complicated, I'm afraid. Yeah, Twitch is overall down. Let's see. I'm worried about you because you keep saying worry about me. Well, you should worry about me. Call of Cthulhu doesn't have a category. It does, but it's the video game, so that you're not going to actually get really good numbers there. Do you think that they should expand TTRPGs to some other large games and leave TRPGs for indie games? So the thing is, Zielzaddy, Vancouver says, I've noticed on a World of Darkness front that some people stream Hunter the Reckoning under the tab of the old Hunter Xbox games. Yes, which, by the way, Vancouver, makes my life very, very difficult because I go through all these categories and then I've got to check the categories to see if it's really an RPG category or mostly a video game category. And let me tell you, it makes my life very, very difficult. So what I'm going to show you right now is actually not complete because I actually have to delete a couple of categories. So I'm going to show you something that is, don't take this as gospel yet because it's not ready, right? I just need you to know what I'm going to show you is not ready. And this is for 2023. And I'm going to, just know that it's not complete, right? So this is... I've got some charts here. That's great. Some combined stuff. That's also great. So when I went through to what I do, which this kind of the data that this data work that I do here, you cannot get anywhere else. And I know. It's because I have to delete some things and redo this. It won't take me too long. This is for 2023. I have to delete a couple categories that were basically not really RPG categories and then refactor this data. And right now I'm in the process of working on 2024. So what I have here, nobody else has because nobody else does this. Just me, but it's fine because it takes too much time and there's just something wrong with me, but that's fine too. So under RPGs were streamed under the following categories more or less, although some of these have to be deleted. D&D, tabletop RPGs, Pathfinder, VTM is actually a really terrible category because sometimes it's the video game and sometimes it's the RPG, but I think mostly I can delete this category. I just have to watch out for pen and paper, but that's Cyberpunk had people, but again, if we look at how many people stream Cyberpunk, the tabletop RPG, it was 429 people in 2023, right? So so let me go back. So almost 17,000 people streamed Dungeons & Dragons in 2023. Almost 8,000 streamed under tabletop RPGs as a category. Pathfinder had a little over 1,000 people stream that, channels. VTM is, again, a tricky category because it's kind of fake and I've got to go through, but it was, again, also only 469 people. Cyberpunk, again, 429 people. Starfinder, absolutely a TTRPG category, but 124 channels. Fantasy Grounds, 72 channels. Savage Worlds, 55. Fantasy Grounds Unity, 48. City of Mist, 25. Candela Obscura, 21. City of Mist 2, 16. Cthulhu, this category is 13 people. Don't count it. I'm taking that out. Monster Hearts 2, 11 people. Star Trek, the RPG, 9 people. Invisible Sun, 2. There's an old D&D category from before they split it when there was only one category. one person streamed under that old incorrect category in 2023. And there was a Fantasy Grounds Call of Cthulhu, which had, again, one person stream it. So generally speaking, most people are streaming under Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop RPGs, with Pathfinder coming up next. Call of Cthulhu does have a category, but people don't tend to stream under it. It's mostly the RPG. If you go to that category, you're mostly going to get people streaming under streaming the video game. So when people play Call of Cthulhu, they tend to do it under tabletop RPGs. So, that tends to be what happens. Now, we're gonna talk about categories for a second. So so many people are like, oh, I want categories for everything. Everyone wants like their categories for all these different things. I don't think it really matters for a couple of reasons. One is we have a category for Invisible Sun, 2 people streamed on it. Just because you have a category doesn't mean that it's going to do anything for you. Do you know what I mean? So there's like a question of whether or not people think that these categories are going to give them fame and fortune, but come on now. Unstable says, Trooper, if you want this type of analysis moved into something like a Jupyter Notebook, let me know. I don't even know what a Jupyter Notebook is. Isn't Call of Cthulhu the leading RPG after D&D, though, or am I remembering it wrong? It is not. Pathfinder is. Well, how do you want to define that, Max Ryder, is a question. Do you mean by sales or by people playing? If you mean sales, it's Pathfinder. It's D&D, Pathfinder, generally third-party Pathfinder, Starfinder, and then something else comes up in sales. Call of Cthulhu is often not in the top 5. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. When it comes to people playing on Roll20, it is Call of Cthulhu. So Call of Cthulhu tends to come in second when it comes to people playing on VTTs. People think it tends to have more players, but player base and sales are slightly different numbers, and it's harder to decide what is the player base, right? Call of Cthulhu tends to be one of the most popular games after D&D in many countries. Just again, remember, sales is a different thing. It's not like they come out with books all the time. So, but it's super popular. Call of Cthulhu was the game that did the best in terms of ratings for Critical Role after D&D. And the Call of Cthulhu category is meant for the video game. That is correct. That is correct. And so sometimes people stream under that, but they probably shouldn't because it makes my life very miserable. It makes me very sad. So what I do, which you're not going to get anywhere else, is I take all these, I go through all the categories, find everything we're going to find TTRPGs, and then I aggregate them to make a combined page. So this combined page we have right now, I have to redo because I've got to take out a couple of these. There are like 1 or 2 categories I have to take out and then refactor this. The top 10 is still fine. And because some people, like Ben in Paper, who's German, they stream under multiple categories. And so they might be like number 20 in this category, number 13 in this category, number 100 in this other category. But if you place everybody together, you're going to get a better sense of what somebody's actually doing within the realm of all TTRPGs. Well, you wouldn't stream under multiple categories for the same stream. But for example, Critical Role streams under Dungeons and Dragons sometimes. Tabletop RPGs streams. Their Daggerheart, they don't stream under D&D. They stream that under tabletop RPGs. Candela Obscura, they stream under Candela Obscura. Dungeons and Dragons, they stream under Dungeons and Dragons. And so they've got, in a given year, they've got multiple streams on different categories, which makes them seem less popular than they actually are. So what I do is I go through and I smush everybody together. And I refactor all the data so that I can find out how people are actually really sitting. Like what is somebody's actual popularity? Because you might be number 1 in tabletop RPGs, but if we put everything all together, you wouldn't be number 1 and vice versa, right? So if we look at combined, the number 1, again, some of the lower data is wrong, but this top is fine. For 2023, I have not finished 2024 yet because it's only just started the year. Critical Role is by far and away the number 1 channel for watch time. They're also combined. They are doing the best when it comes to streamed RPGs. Number 2, however, I'm going to stop by 10 o'clock. That's my end. The number 2 streamer for 2023 is K Forsen, who is a Japanese streamer. So if you look at, actually, just to name off the languages of the top 20 streams combined: English, Japanese, French, English, German, English, Portuguese, English, German, French, German, English, 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 French, right? So the thing is that we talk about who's popular and who's big, and we often have no idea because we're not paying attention to languages streams and not in English or not these particular ones. So the number 2 streamer in terms of watch time is Kei Forsen from Japan. The number 3 streamer is Selbit. We need Polish, right? So number 3, Valtiel. There is a huge amount of language variety. It just doesn't tend to be in the Dungeons and Dragons category. If you look at the Portuguese is usually from Brazil, Werewolf, and that's most of the big Portuguese streamers are out of Brazil rather than Europe. Selbit is the third biggest streamer. And actually, just if you notice this, if you just look at the categories for the top streams, the number 1 is combined. That's Critical Role that streams under multiple categories. Number 2, tabletop RPGs. Number 3, tabletop RPGs. Tabletop RPGs, tabletop RPGs. Number 7 is Dungeons and Dragons exclusive. Brett Ultimus. Number 8 is Dungeons and Dragons. Then we get tabletop RPGs, D&D, tabletop RPGs combined, right? So this idea that D&D is the best category, if you look at the top streams, when you aggregate them, when you put them together, the top streams are A, under the tabletop RPG category, and B, often not in English. Just so that you know this, right? So we have Critical Role, Kei Forsen, Selbit, Kato Junichi, Mr. MV, Brett Ultimus, Stay, Gronk, Captain Robert, who I think is Super Sketch, Rakeen, High Rollers, they're out of England, Fable Scraps, Annie the Duck, Ben and Paper, who's German, who makes my life miserable because he streams over 18,000 categories, Comet Zero, Orkenspalter TV, Legends of Avantris, Table Story. Hey, Table Story. They're at 19. And then Joe Fudge is Joe Fudge, and then Joueur du Grenier. So, that's a story for another moment. But watch time, number 1 is Critical Role. Stream time, number 1 is Captain Robert, which is why Captain Robert is super sketchy. Super sketchy. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Captain Robert is the one that's always streaming, never stops streaming, and it's all repeats. And I'm pretty sure that his stream is mostly full of bots. He has like 1 or 2 live shows a week, maybe 1 or 2, but he almost always has like a bunch of people there. And I go and I watch it anytime, and nobody's talking. And I've search for some of the names of the people that are there, and it's mostly bots. I think he's paying for bots. There was a big scandal out of Brazil when somebody was doing that as well. So I think he gets watch time because it's mostly bots and never goes down. But he doesn't actually have the viewership that he says he has. I just think he's sketchy. Anyhow, yeah. But when it comes to peak viewers for 2023, again, I don't have 2024 yet, is Selbit. Critical Role's peak viewership was 38,295, but Selbit's peak viewership for 2023 was 196,242 viewers. So Selbit got like 5 times the peak viewership that Critical Role got. And when it comes to average viewers, Critical Role had an average viewer count of 5,252, but Selbit was number 1 and had an average viewer count of 122,642 viewers, right? So everyone's thinking like, oh my gosh, Critical Role is super big, and they are. They're the number 1 when it comes to watch time, but you cannot sleep on these channels that are not in English, that are doing super, 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 super well. That said, again, I don't have 2024 yet because this is too early for the data to come in. But if we want to talk about what average is, or what the what you're looking at in terms of median, I think it's Control End. Right. Okay. So you've got to look at a couple of different kinds of numbers, right? Yeah. So this is basically if you streamed tabletop RPGs in 2023, I have your data, just so you know. I still have to fix this, and I need to do 2024. I also took screenshots of all the top 20 streams in this data, and I have downloads so that I can talk about quantitative versus qualitative stuff, like how many streams have, because you would not be surprised how many streams in the top 20 don't have face cams. Not just that they're not in studio, that there are VTubers. A number of these top 20 are VTubers with no face cams whatsoever, no voice acting, just like maps and minis, doing like modules, D&D modules. You'd be surprised. So everyone's like, oh, if you want to be big and famous, you need to go and have like a big studio with big names like Critical Role and do all this stuff. And he's like, actually, some of these top streamers are just have VTube and maps and minis on Roll20. That's all they got. No voice acting, no faces, pretty simple basic stuff, but they have their own so like there's a lot of stuff going on there. But okay, so there are a couple things you got to look at because they have these massive outliers. It's important to look not just at the mean but also the median and the mode. And if you want to look at the like average viewers, right? So the average of the average viewers for all TTRP streams is 26.5. But 26.5 is grossly warped because of the fact that you have some people that are massively huge like Cellbit and Critical Role. If you want to look at the median average viewer count is 4. And the mode, i.e. the one that happens the most, is 2. So the number that you are going to get most often out of TTRPG streams average viewer count is 2, and the median is 4. So just note that, right? I'm not a fan of no face cam stuff. If I want to listen to a game, I'll just download stuff from, yeah, right. But again, that's, Pantsless Tables encourages PNG and VTubers to play with on-camera folks, and we do very well. And some of the sample sizes are below 30, so you don't have a standard distribution. So you're probably right on average, right? So so remember, when people are like, oh my gosh, 5,000 and da-da-da, 4, right? 4. And when it comes to peak viewers, sure, the average is 53. The median, though, is 7, and the mode is 4 peak viewers. 4, right? So I just want you all to know that when it comes to what most people are doing, it's 4 viewers. That's what you're looking at for the vast majority of the overwhelming majority of streams. That's what you're at, right? Like there were like, I'm looking at 26,000 channels streamed TTRPGs last year, 2023, pardon me. So like 26,206 channels streamed. It's probably a little bit less because I've got to pull out a couple of those categories, but you're still looking at like basically 26,000 channels streamed RPGs last year under a variety of categories. And out of those 26,000 channels, right, the vast majority of them are not even affiliated, right? They don't even have 3 viewers. And I am doing this. I've been collecting this data every year. I've not always been able to present it because I've not been able to have the time to do all of it. This still has to be gathered. Do you know what I mean? Like I still have to I've got to pull out 1 or 2 categories and then redo this. It won't change much, but just a little bit. And right now I've been working on this for 2024. What I wanted to do is I want to do a thing where I do like a feature on the top, like 2 of the top 20 channels and 2 channels that are in the median. That's what slowed me down for 2023 because median channels usually don't have VODs and they usually are so small, right? They're so small that they don't even have a lot of records of them left. That said, I can tell you if you aggregate myself with everything all together, so if you look at me just all together, I am in the top 0.9% watch time, top 1.3% stream time, top 4.10% for peak viewers, which was 65 in 2023. Top 4.5% for average viewers, which was 26 in 2023, and top 8.3% for followers, which was 2,033 in 2023. 23. So like my numbers might be down, but I'm actually I'm doing really well. Now, what I want to say is, and this is really important, I have got what you would say are super impressive numbers when you look at percentages, right? Like, again, top 1% doing really, really well. But if somebody looked at me and they were like, oh, is this person important? Is this person good? I would not look impressive because my average was 26 viewers, right? I'm not even partnered. I'm affiliated, yes, but I can't make partner. To make partner, you need to have 76 average viewers over the course of a month, over 30 days. And I have never been anywhere near that. And I'm in the top 1%. So many people think, the whole reason why I do this data crunching is because many people think that they are doing badly. Many people think, oh, I'm doing so poorly, I'm doing so badly, I'm so awful. But actually, you're not doing badly. You're in the 1%, right? And this, one of the things, have you ever thought about publishing this stuff as a PDF, maybe on Drive-Thru RPG and charging like $1 for it? I bet people would be interested. Well, I've got to figure out how, where, what, have you tried multi-stream? I don't want to multi-stream. First off, one thing Zeal's add is I'm not even I'm not even partnered on YouTube. YouTube is much harder to get partnered on. Thank you, Fiversa. YouTube is much harder to get partnered on. I have the watch, but I don't have the followers, so I can't even monetize on YouTube. YouTube is much harder to get monetized on. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Hey, Top Shell, there's a friend of mine who does dance streams for Lindy Hop events. Ooh, nice. I know he's been pretty down about his numbers, but I suspect he's got a similar story with what percentiles. Oh, absolutely. Right? That's the thing, Tap Shell. Tap Shell. By the way, you know, Tap Shell, I have a tap board over there. Don't worry about it. Right? People think they're doing badly when they're doing really, really well, which leads me to this. Yeah, it's all to moderate chat, right? That's the other thing, too. So here's the other thing I want to say about this. There's this complaint. People are like, Twitch doesn't do anything to let people discover small streamers. And they usually mean themselves. But usually they're actually not small. They're usually actually top 1%. And the thing is, you're a small streamer has 0 viewers. Right? That's a small streamer. Or maybe 1. And there are millions of them. How exactly is Twitch going to help discoverability of a small streamer who has like, give me 1 second. I can tell you this right now. So last year, 2024, I'm not done with my data yet, right? There were 280,481,706 streams last year. 280 million streams last year. That's a lot. Do you know what I mean? And the average viewer ratio was 25. 25 average viewer ratio last year. There were over 2 million people watching streams. Everybody wants the small streamer to be featured. They want discoverability, but I think they need to recognize is that there are at any given time, on average, 94,000 channels streaming on Twitch at the same time, right? And they just want, when people say they want more discovery for small channels, they just want themselves to be discovered. That's what they want. But they don't recognize, A, that they're already doing really, really well for the most part. And they're sometimes the elite, right? These people are talking about themselves as small channels are actually the elite. Like, I'm technically the elite, but I don't feel that big. But actually, I am really big because most people have 0 viewers, right? So those are things that people really need to think about. Yeah, that's, you know, this is like a thing that people need to think about this. Yeah, YouTube is an even bigger pond. Yeah. Max Rider says you have to go to someone's channel to ban or time people out, and you can't get there from a stream chat. Oh, you literally have to search during stream for their channel. That's terrible. Other doctors, whenever you talk about this, I feel better about myself, and I appreciate that. That's why I do it. The whole reason why I do this number crunching is because I want people to stop feeling bad about themselves. I want people to know that they're doing really well. How much of this is affected by frequency of streams? Frequency of streams will affect some things, but not others. It will affect watch time, but will not affect as much like average viewer count. So there are a couple of different metrics that are, like there are things you can do, like Captain Robear artificially inflates his watch time. by never ever going off stream, but you just have to know that and sort of take that out. But that's why you kind of look at view time, average viewers, and peak viewers as three numbers together to sort of like figure that out. And sometimes what I'll do is I also have another version of my data where I cut out anybody who hasn't streamed more than like 10 hours in a year, something like that. I have some kind of cutoff. I think I figure out what that cutoff is, how many minutes you've streamed. If you've streamed under a certain number of minutes, then I will cut you off, and then I'll run a second version of the data to see what happens if you cut off people that only streamed like 10 hours or something. Doesn't look that much different though, to be honest. Let's see. House says, yeah, when the D&D game I'm regular cast member in Darkwater started, Tripper looked at my numbers and saw we were between 10 and 20 viewers and showed me this data and told me our channel was doing great, which is true. Zanzibar says, getting in on the shorts game on YouTube would probably be better for discoverability. Where were you? Than multi-streaming if you were even going to push the YouTube. So here's the thing about that. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, if you want to become famous, you have to do this, you have to do this. And I'm going to say a couple of things that people don't want to hear. People who watch you, like there are people who have, like I have, 5,000 something, that's like 6,000 followers on Twitter. Do those people come and watch my TTRPG streams? They do not. Some do, but like it's maybe 2% of my viewership comes from Twitter. There are people who have massive followings on Twitter. They're huge in TTRPG Twitter. It does not translate to people watching their streams at all. I don't think that people who watch a 30-second TikTok are going to watch a 3-hour stream. I don't think you might become very popular on TikTok, but I don't think that's going to translate to people watching your TTRPG stream. In the same way, there are people who have like huge viewer counts for video games, then somebody like invites that video gamer to be on their TTRPG stream, and they don't bring an audience because their audience does not want to watch TTRPGs. There are all these thoughts about, oh, if you do this, you become popular. If you do this, you become popular. I think most that's actually just bunk, to be honest. I think that's wishful thinking. Yeah, the average viewership across all of Twitch is 25 light. Yep, that's right. Yep. And we're 36 right now, which means we're higher viewer count than the average on Twitch in general. Okay. So it's mostly luck. It's building a community, right? Everyone wants to give you the shortcut, but you just have to build a community is what you have to do. And then you have to get lucky. That number is probably much lower given the state of Twitter. Yeah. So, shorts can be an ad for your shows if it's pushing people who do watch actual plays. Yes. Thank you, Grun Adler. And I'm not really dealing with Twitter anymore. I'm just doing Blue Sky because Twitter's not interesting to me, and I don't want to. Yes. But generally speaking, there's not a lot of crossovers people think. You're probably not the only one, Grun Adler. There's one other thing I wanted to tell you, though. There's one little piece of data I wanted to share with you because I thought you might find this interesting. Because I gave you all that data. I do have one other bit of data before I go that you might find interesting. And that is on my tracking numbers spreadsheet. I'll show you this because you might find this interesting as our last thing. So this here is, this is my season outgo. Not interesting, but this is interesting. I put all of my VODs on YouTube on my YouTube channel, which by the way has got the watch time, but not the follower count to become monetized. One day I'll get the subscribers, I hope. But I also keep track of how many viewers I have watching the VODs on YouTube. And I'm gonna thank you, Krellin. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna go. So I thought you might find this interesting. So as you know, Kolos is has my best numbers for Twitch, right? You used to be monetized, so they changed it. Now I have the subs, but not the watch time. Yeah, Max Ryder, see, this is what I'm saying. So Kolos, when you look at the number of YouTube views, right? So my best YouTube views is it's Trooper SJP is my channel. So my highest number of YouTube VODs, I checked December 1st, is 1,090 for the first session of City of Light and Shadow, with the average count people watching the VODs on YouTube is 285 for City of Light and Shadow, 134 115, 64, 64, right? So that's what we're looking at for City of Light and Shadow, which, remember, has my best numbers on Twitch. Now, let's look at The Gamblers, shall we? Which hits, in terms of numbers, it's like third, somewhere between second and fourth on my numbers for Twitch, compared to all my other streams. Drynax. First episode, first season, basically 7,000 viewers. So 7 times the number of viewers people have watched the VOD of The Gamblers than I've watched City of Light and Shadow. And then I get 3,000, 1,000. So like the average viewer count for season 1 of The Gamblers is 1,486, right? And then I've got 329, 239, 186, 157. So The Gamblers does super well when it comes to watch count on YouTube. And I have a thought before I go. Motor City Hollow Crown, my VTM, not great, like 65, not big numbers. Crash Jones, 86, it's fine, right? Cthulhu Confidential, some good numbers, average 443. Seasons of Death, average 56. My miscellaneous other stuff, it depends on which one we're looking at. Going Solo does pretty well with an average of 259. My miscellaneous stuff is pretty good, but that's because Desperation did really, really well. Tunnels and Trolls did really, really well. The Zone did really, really well. So what I'm going to tell you is this, because I think this is what I want to share with you. I think that there's something really interesting that Traveler is my most successful YouTube. And Zanzibar says that's what about TikTok bringing people into. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but Cord was multi-streaming The Gamblers and on TikTok while I was streaming here on Twitch. It didn't do anything for the numbers, by the way, but he was doing it he was actually streaming the whole thing live over on TikTok. It didn't do much for the numbers, but he did for a couple of weeks. Not really the numbers of views. Okay, so, thank you, Bulletproof Kate. I really loved Motor City, and I want to do a second season, but I have to wait until you know what I mean? I really, really loved it. It was Motor City Hollow Crown was so important to me. It was something that I feel very, very, it was something that was really important to me. I think it was really good work. It was really good art. I loved it. We'll have to get a second season one of these days. I'm hoping for a second season myself. Thank you. So what I'm going to say is, I think what's interesting is that I think I want more Roscoe too, actually. I want another season of that. Thank you, House of Dreams. Yeah, TikTok and YouTube Shorts are the same kind of content, but very different audience and also numbers, absolutely. Yeah, I think it deserves better numbers too, but that's okay because I'm going to bring it back. Probably, I don't know when, but I'm going to bring it back. So before we wrap up, I'm going to say this. I think that the fact that Traveler does so much better on YouTube says something about YouTube's RPG audience. A lot of people who go to YouTube for RPGs go for commentary. Like, there's a lot of YouTube commentary people, but you can find older RPGs on YouTube. I think that YouTube might be a better place for older RPGs. Traveler is an older RPG, and that's doing very well. GURPS did very well on there as well. When I did the Redbox, actually Redbox D&D, really great numbers also. Like when I did that one. So D&D Basic, so when I did the D&D Redbox solo RPG, that has 2,487 views on YouTube. So I suspect that YouTube's audience might skew a little bit older, and so older RPGs might do a little bit better on YouTube in terms of YouTube views, but it doesn't help if you don't get the subscribers. You still can't monetize your content. So things to think about. Older TTRPG folks such as Elder Millennials and Gen X folks really like YouTube. Yeah. Grun Adler says, I'm weird. I use YouTube to download videos to listen while I drive. For some reason, I find it easier than podcasts and Twitch. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to think about that. All right. So, interesting. I just checked, and my most viewed YouTube video is Amber Diceless. See, Other Doc, that makes sense to me because Amber's older. I think you get some kind of nicher things become more popular on YouTube, I think. So check that out. I'm just noting that one for a bit. So that, by the way, was our recap, our state of the Foxhole. When it comes to like big, larger data about streaming and all that in general, by the way, it's almost impossible to get YouTube data, so I can't do that, but I can get Twitch data, so that I can give you all. I can give you that analysis. And unfortunately, Roll20 stopped putting out their, they used to put out a report every quarter with all of their numbers, and I have all of those until they stopped doing it, and they've stopped putting out that, which is terrible because I no longer have current data for that. And I do subscribe to ICV2, so I have the current data for sales. For RPGs in general. So I have a bunch of different data streams that I try to go and put together and do cool stuff with. But when I get my free time, I will try to put together 2024 and hopefully we can do some good stuff with it. But that was the state of the Foxhole. Yeah. Better search function on YouTube also provides a little help. Yeah. But the problem with that, the Werewolf, is that it's algorithm driven. So that if YouTube decides not to, like, they will decide to tank your video. There was just a really good video about YouTube saying, this one YouTuber who does D&D commentary, saying that basically he went to YouTube to ask what to do and make his channel, but they're like, you have to stop doing D&D because we're going to tank all the D&D numbers. So they're basically no longer interested in promoting D&D in the algorithm. So even if you search for it, it's less likely that it's going to come up because they're no longer interested in supporting D&D on YouTube. So there's that. So that is that's a whole nother thing, isn't it? The being, I don't know why. I can't tell you. They've got something going on. I don't know what it is, but they basically said that's not the way to the future. If you want to have a successful channel, you have to stop doing D&D. And a number of D&D, yeah, it was like a D&D professor, I don't know. Professor DM Professor, I don't know, one of those was talking about how a number of these big D&D streamers have just stopped streaming D&D. They're doing other things now because D&D numbers are collapsing. D&D commentary numbers are just collapsing. So not that, but that's D&D commentary channels. I don't really know about streaming channels, D&D like episodes of streams, because that's not really what they're talking about. But I'm just saying that stuff is happening. Stuff is happening. Your highest RPG is a Silent Hill Call of Cthulhu game you ran. Ooh, Max Rider, I have to watch that. I will do that as well. Alas, that was 5 years ago. And what do we have last? Oh yeah, I've got the last things to say. D&D commentary. Oh, D&D commentary are videos like how to play a paladin really well, or how to design combat encounters, or what to do if you're. It's a lot of GM advice. It's a lot of GM advice, how to play the game advice, how to build your character advice. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of like reviews, how to make your campaign, DM advice, player advice, more DM advice than player advice. It's that kind of stuff. And also news, right? Like Seth Skarkovsky is like the one of the top non-D&D channels. It's very good. It's been a while since I was here, but I want to drop in and say hi. Thank you, Tapshell. Tapshell, do you know I took some tap lessons last summer? Last summer I took tap lessons. I would like to take more, but, you know, time. Yeah. That said, my friend, what's going on with Hasbro? Yeah. And the thing about saturation, the thing about that, Zanzibar, is we're already saturated. Again, almost 30,000 people are streaming RPGs on Twitch. How many people are doing, like, the number of people on YouTube, it's, right? Everyone forgets that they're not just 100 channels. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands. There are millions of channels. You know what I mean? Like, there are millions of channels. And everyone forgets that. People think that they're competing with, like, 100 channels. You're competing with 100 million channels, you know? Yeah, so people need to, I have been avoiding dance for a while. I should get back too. All right, so I'm going. This is it. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being amazing and wonderful. If you're in California, stay safe. Thank you for being along with the ride. I'm hoping, certainly not this week, because this week I've got to prep for classes, which start on Wednesday. So I've got a lot of class prep to do. a bunch of email to get caught up on, and we've got a special. Okay, look, this is where you can find me. I will absolutely sing for Zeal Zaddy 100%. But I wanted to tell you where you can find me next. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern on my channel, I will be doing Death of the Author, which is a one-shot with producer Marcus, who's amazing. Best Kind of Worst, Drunkly Romantic. He's great, and you should come and see it. It's where he uses tarot, and it can be done solo or with two people, and it's about an author and the character that they're writing and how they are at odds with each other. You can find me on Saturday at noon Eastern for the first time we're going to be playing Hitman on the channel, and then you can find me on Tuesday for Warhammer 40k at 8:30 p.m. Eastern over on Wandering Games channel for the finale of that 6-shot, and then we'll be back on Thursday for Disco Elysium. So that said, the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Zeal Zaddy, Zeal Zaddy, Zeal Zaddy, Mobile Zaddy, Banana Fanner, for Feel Zaddy, Fee, Fi, Momil Zaddy, yeah. Zeal Zaddy, the name game. Thank you for that sub, Zeal Zaddy. That resub, it is much appreciated. All of this goes to help pay for casts, really. And I will just say thank you. And remember this. All of these media platforms, all of them, well, not Twitch, because Twitch doesn't actually make money, but all these platforms, they make money by getting content from you, from me, from all of us. And the way they get people to make content is through the fantasy that we all can become Mr. Beast, and that is a doable, normal thing, and that doing well means that this is your full-time job, and that like you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and almost nobody is doing that, right? Remember again, 0.5% of streamers are partnered on Twitch, and that only means that you have 75 average viewers. That doesn't mean you're making any money at all, right? The vast majority, almost nobody is making enough money to live on. And so just remember that this is something that you should do because you love it. My one big advice is, all those people who tell you, if you want to be successful, you have to chase this. Play games you don't enjoy playing. Do stream times you don't enjoy doing. Do this, do all these things that you don't enjoy, and then you become popular and famous. You're not going to become popular and famous. I mean, you might. It's just not. It's very unlikely to happen. So instead of doing things you don't enjoy, why don't you just do things you enjoy? That's what I do. I do games I enjoy with people I enjoy, and all of a sudden doing that means I have all of you all battle buddies who I really enjoy hanging out with and talking to, because you all are really great. Because I'm here in the moment doing what I love, and everyone that's the other thing too. Everyone talks about burnout. I was like, burnout. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel burnt out at all, actually. I love this because I don't do things that I don't enjoy in order to chase some kind of thing that is like bogus, right? I know that I'm in the top 1% of streamers, and I'm doing really well, and I'm doing things I love with a great community, and it's great. And I get all teary-eyed and have a good time. So I don't see myself burning out, and I think that I'm doing really well. And here's what I also think. I feel like most of you all are also doing really well. And so I hope you can take that with you, that you're doing well, do what you love and do it the best you can, and who knows what will happen from there. That's it. Take care, everybody. I love you all. And if there's anybody interesting, I don't know if there's anybody interesting to raid. If there is, we'll do it. Let's see. If there's not, we'll just go and I'll eat some food. Because again, eating food's important. But, you know, I don't think I'm going to... actually, we're going to go and we're gonna raid the Lollygaggers because they're doing Swords of the Serpentine, which is a gumshoe game, which I have not yet played, but I did order it, but I haven't gotten the final copy yet. So we're gonna raid them because I think that will be nice. And let's not forget our raid command. And raid. Whoop. And let's give them some love. And I will catch you all on the flip side. Bye, everybody.